morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning. I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning. Hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful morning. We are going to get started here in just a moment. As we get in, if you guys don't mind, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It is only one coin. It will boost the live, push us out to the FYP. Yeah. Do all the wonderful things. I hope everyone's having a great morning. It's Friday Junior. For those who, if you know, it's absolutely Friday Junior. Sorry, YouTube, sorry it took so long. I had to post this video. I forgot that I didn't post the video. So I just posted and I pinned it to my account. It's on my main. That's interesting. Let's see, who do we have here? Marcus, good morning. Alexa, good morning. Kimberly, good morning. Vash Bell over on Twitch, good morning. Let's see, we have More Baked Than a Potato on YouTube, good morning. We got Jammin' Jamaican, is it Jamaican 06 over on YouTube, good morning. We got Alexis for Queens, good morning. We got Ashley Waste, good morning, over on YouTube. B Happy 1102, good morning. Was it Skifit Sashta? Good morning. Lone Wolf, good morning. HC from LBC, good morning. Brian, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Over on the TikTok, as we get in, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It is only one coin. It will boost the live, push us out to the FYP. I set up the daily gift goal, which is the love you very much. If you guys could please knock that out. And also, if you're over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. It'll help boost the VOD and, get more people in there to do all the wonderful things. We're going to get started here in just a moment. One quick thought that I had, super interesting thought. I know we all realize this, and this is something that like we've been dealing with. I know that I've been dealing with, and it's kind of like where we are, especially with the people that I choose to engage with. But man, Trump supporters really don't like anyone requiring them to do anything with, like, to have any type of intelligence or facts or information. Like they get really upset when you say, like, hey, I need you to actually be able to verify or prove any of the things that you're saying. And they take that as like an insult, which is weird, right? Like, I would think that if you actually believe something and you have something to say and you're going to actually speak on something, you would speak on that thing from like an actual place of intelligence, right? Or maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me thinking like that's important. At least that's important to me. But apparently that's not important to them. And it's just super interesting. Just super interesting. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. You guys know how we do. Tap the screen, share the live. Let's get the likes up to 10,000 likes. Also, send your daily heart me. I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goals. And you guys know exactly how we always started off. So let's get it started right.
You stepped in the box. Now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here. You better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in chain. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats to get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit. Yeah, step in if you dare. Truth hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. I don't care what you claim or your background. Facts only, if not, get clapped down. Whether you're left or right or you don't even vote. If your logic is weak, I'll sink your boat. You talk slick, but you ain't got source. Just vibes, that ain't power, that's force. I'm the test, the trap, the trip, the call. You slip once, I'm snatching it all. Yeah. Step in if you dare. You dare. Hit hard like a punch in the air. Punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. Yeah. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Nope. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. Step in, if you dare. You care. Hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. Yeah. This ain't a safe place.
Nope.
This is flame space. Step
Yep.
in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana.
Guys, welcome in, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. I am Santana. Guys, please do all the wonderful things. Tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. We are here for some debates. And guys, it is time for a change. It is absolutely time for a change. If you disagree with anything, then get in a box. For the person, Free Iran, you keep spamming, can I join, bro? Are you here to debate? I'm just letting you know right now. I see you in the request. I'm going to bring you in. But if you're not here to debate, you will be dropped. I'm not looking to talk to like friendlies or no, it's fine. But are you here to debate? Like I need to understand if you're actually here to debate. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and get you up here. All right. Hi. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
Yeah, I disagree with pretty much everything on the background, but I will focus on the remove man leaders.
Okay.
Which seems,
and just to verify, you are an American citizen, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Oh, I know your username says Free Iran, but what can I actually call you?
Stuart.
Stuart? Okay, perfect. Stuart, we're going to go ahead and get started here. But before we go too far, I have a quick question for you. Stuart, do you know who I am?
Santana, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, to be more specific, Stuart, and I can help. Would you mind if I give you and everyone a quick introduction to who I am and what this is?
Okay, sure.
1 second. Chase, cut the shit in the chat. You will be muted or blocked. I don't like, yeah, cut it. Just absolutely stop. Sorry, Stuart. Sorry, guys. 1 second here. Let's get to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. I am Santana, and I am looking for some debates. So, guys, if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background, get in the box. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live. Let's go ahead and get the likes up. Let's get the likes up to 50,000 likes. Also, I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goals to these little 1 cent gift goals to help push us out to the FYP. All right, Stuart, you said that you're a Trump supporter. You disagree with things on the background, but specifically you want to start with remove men leader. Cool. Tell me why you disagree with removing men leaders.
Because I think it's up to the people to decide who's the leader.
Okay, that's it. That's all you got.
It is not supposed to be about gender the same way I would believe that you won't want to, let's say that women cannot do some certain jobs. I mean, that would be really nice, right? So, I mean, we're the same way, both genders.
That's it. That's just because people should pick. Okay.
Simple, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I disagree. The reason why I disagree, Stuart, is because our country is heading off a cliff, right? Our country is literally heading off the side of a cliff to a place where we won't be able to recover if we don't do something dramatic. And the dramatic thing that is necessary, the dramatic thing that is absolutely something that can shift the direction of our country is by instituting a policy that not forever, right? I'm not saying forever, but at least for the next eight presidential cycle, or sorry, eight presidents, next 8 presidents, we should actually okay, I'm gonna mute you there because you got a little bit of background noise. Can't even turn them. I can't mute you. I don't know what's happening. All right, better.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. At least for the next 8 presidential cycles, right? 4 cycles each, 8 total, 4 presidents. If they get 2 terms, 32 years. I think it would be important to remove men leader just because of the course that our country is heading on. He said next 4 presidents. Yeah, 4 presidents. 4 presidents if they get 2 terms. So that would be 8. 8 years total for 32. That's right. 32 years.
So you're just saying this because you think that there needs to be some very big change, not because like men are worse at being leaders, just because we need change.
Yeah. So the country is heading on a couple of, like a massive path or a cliff. Question for you. How long do most nations last? What's the average time for nations?
I would say about 1,000 years.
250 years. 250 years is the total time that most nations last. And guys, I'm going to do something really quick because the camera isn't auto-focusing like I like to. You're not going to see me for like a couple of seconds and then you'll see me again. All right. So Chase, it normally lasts about 250 years. And knowing that it normally lasts for about 250 years, what year are we entering this year in the U.S.?
200.
250. So literally, we are at the precipice of where most nations actually collapse. And not only are we at the precipice of where most nations absolutely actually collapse, the United States of America, which is the superpower in the world, is following the course of the last 5 superpowers, the last 5 countries that had their currency as the centralized currency for the entire world. The United States is doing the exact same thing as these last 5 countries, which caused them to collapse. So my point being is, while I understand that advocating for removing men from leadership would disenfranchise myself as well, it's absolutely necessary in order for us to be able to ensure that we can actually keep our country and protect the people within our country.
But I don't understand why specifically remove men. Why
not okay.
women?
Yeah. Absolutely great question. The reason being is if you look at the 250-year history of our country, the 90% of all Congress, right, and that's House, Senate, and presidency has been made up of men, specifically white men, right? And when you talk about the fact that it's been made up of white men, and even if you take a look at the current splits, there's 76%, I'm sorry, actually 78% now. 78% of all of Congress is made up of 78% of all Congress is made up of men total. So no matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever the case may be, the actual the issues that we see today in our country, they're all directly because of men. Men have passed legislations that at time it has benefited others, but a lot of times they pass legislation that can disenfranchise and does often disenfranchise other people, other marginalized communities. So the overall point being, like, men will pass bills that'll help sometime, but most of the time, or more often than not, they've been willing to actually harm marginalized groups and marginalized communities while making sure that they're perfectly fine. So yeah, we got to get something we got to shake it up.
So basically, that's a fallacy because it's not the problem is men, okay? Because the reason that there are more men in office is because that there are much more men that are running for office, right? So it's basically more logic to them to be elected.
That's not true.
And also, that's not true.
No.
Are you arguing that women and men are both running at the same rates?
I'm saying that it's not an issue of, like, quote unquote much more men than women. We see that women are running for office, but women are being disenfranchised. But you're talking about today. I'm talking about the entire history of our country, right? Because if you're looking at the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, okay. But like, you have to talk about, I'm talking about the inception of our country. And when our country was first founded, like, the only people that had power were white men that own land. And then after white men that own land, it became all white men. And then after all white men, it became men. And then finally we moved to the system where it's shared power. So if you take a look at the overall history of our country, you can see that, like, the overarching point is that men have been the ones that have controlled the power, controlled Congress, made laws, and all this other things. So I'm not just talking about the recent or short term.
Yeah, because people want them to be in this position of power, right? That's like the interest of the people.
Says who?
Because they are being voted in democratic way, right? There is election, okay, and they are being voted. That's how democracy works. If you remove any sort of group, then it would be really democratic, right? Because people won't have a real choice. I want people to choose whoever they believe to be a good leader, right? I don't care what's the gender of the person. Like, that's irrelevant. What's relevant?
Well, it's not irrelevant if again. So help me understand this. You're saying that we should just continue on the path as far as what we're doing and allow the quote unquote people to choose the best leader regardless of gender. So cool. How do you account for the trajectory that we've been put on based off of this current process and the fact that men have overwhelmingly guided this process? I mean, I didn't tell you about the 250-year like lifespan of a nation and the fact that the US is on track to collapse like the previous 5 superpowers for just fun. Like, that information was shared because it's important to understanding what continuing down the same path is going to do.
I mean, first, wait, let me actually check this. The thing with the nations, how many years an average empire?
Not empire, nations.
Nation, okay. The average empire.
You can just say, what's the average lifespan of a nation? Guys, while he's looking it up, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 50,000 likes. If you're over on YouTube, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you is the best way to support the live. Everything's accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out.
I would call United States a major state, right? That's fair.
Okay.
You call the United States a major state.
Okay.
So historically speaking, we can see the Roman Empire that was a major state and it lasted 500 years plus. Ottoman Empire 600 years. British Empire 300 years, right? So the 250-year average is more for like smaller nations.
It's still the overall average of a nation. Yes, 250 years. There could be more years, give or take. Yes, there could be additional 50 years or so. Like that's the point isn't, I'm not saying that it's specifically going to happen this year, but I am saying that we are now moving into the time frame where this is common for nations across the board. I'm not separating like major states or small nations or whatever. I'm saying as a whole. So can you please directly address the point as far as the fact that nations have a 250-year lifespan on average, and also the fact that the United States of America is on track with the last 5 superpowers whose currency was the centralized currency of the world and doing the exact same things that caused them to actually collapse. And most relevant is the conflict that we are now engaged in with Iran, which has propelled our economy into like even worse places, and like prices are skyrocketing. All these things are literally connected, and these are things that other superpowers have done. So tell me what change can be made if we just continue to do the same thing without making any type of adjustments.
I mean, we can make some changes, sure, but I don't think that saying that, oh, let's not bring men, that would really make the difference that we need to make. Right?
Okay, give me something that's enough of an impact, enough of a change that you like. I'm open for suggestions. I mean, hey, I'm a man myself. Do I want to be out of power for 32 years? No. Like, I'm not advocating for me to be powerless, but I understand the need to make some type of dramatic shift that would actually positively impact us. So I'm open for it. Give me something. Give me something of substance that you think would actually be beneficial.
Yeah, but first, you understand like the problem with your argument, right? That's
no, I don't think there's no issue with my argument. I think that you haven't. If you have one, then substantiate it and like poke a hole in my actual argument. The only thing that you've been saying is we don't need to hold on. The only thing you've been saying is we don't need to remove men leaders because of the democratic process. Well, hell, the democratic process occurred prior to women being able to actually take part in it. So like, let's not pretend that this is something that's unprecedented, because we've literally done this before, but just on the inverse. So there's that.
So basically what you're saying is because men were leading for so many years and there were problems, therefore we need to remove male leaders. But the problem with that, the logic problem that would be that also many things occurred for all those times, right? For example, men voted all these times. So let's take men the right to vote, right? Because that's happened. So that wasn't good for whatever reason. You didn't, the logic fallacy here, you didn't correlate it between the reason and the effect, right?
Wait, just because you're not tracking doesn't mean that there's a logical fallacy.
No, I am tracking.
Like it's not, you're literally not, because if I'm telling you that over 250 years of data, 250 years with the actual guidance and power of our nation, the people that actually pass laws and govern our country over 250 years, 90%, thank you for the crap, have been white men specifically, but men, And even if you take a look at the current split of our people in power, 78% is men. The actual people that have guided us to the point that we are throughout the history of our country and today has overwhelmingly been men. And then you combine that with the fact that men have passed legislation that has disenfranchised women specifically, has disenfranchised children in different ways, but they don't disenfranchise themselves. So again, I'm not sitting here saying that, oh, I think it's men. I'm telling you, unless you can prove to me somehow men haven't been the one making the decisions over the last 250 years, then I'm willing to actually say, okay, then it has to be this group of people or whatever. But overwhelmingly, the people in power has been men. And obviously the actions that are being taken by the people in power has caused us to be where we are today.
Yeah, of course you can show the correlation between the specific people that were in power, but you have to show the correlation between their gender being a role in their decisions, right? If, let's say, for example, you oppose, I guess, the Republican Party, and a woman that is a Republican would be voted, you fail to show that she would do different actions than the men that were in power in the same party, right? That would be the same, but just she will lack a specific chromosome that the man.
Name one piece of legislation that regulates the man body.
Like she would have just different chromosomes that would happen.
Name one piece of legislation that regulates men's bodies.
What do you mean?
Name one piece of legislation that regulates men's bodies.
I heard you. Can you explain further what you mean by that question?
Is there some type of bills, laws, anything put in place that tell men what they can or cannot do with their bodies?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Is there legislation that's in place that tell women what they can or cannot do with their bodies?
I guess, yes.
Yes. The lack to access to healthcare. So the point that I'm sitting here making is you're saying that we can't say that there is any type of like correlation between the actual sex and like them, you know, passing legislation or whatever the case may be. Well, we have a direct example of that, even though that abortion overwhelmingly is supported by a majority of the women in our country. 64% actually are, you know, pro-abortion, and that's, you know, regardless of political sides. If you take a look at like political affiliation, you know, it's higher on the left than it is on the right. But overall, 64% of women in the United States are pro-abortion. Yet the fact that men have been in power, and the men who don't actually have uterus and they don't have the actual the issues or worried about having this access to healthcare, they have been willing to not only vote and vote to disenfranchise women, but in places like Oklahoma have voted to completely remove any type of exceptions to access to the healthcare unless the woman is literally about to die, like moments away from death. So again, there's no other situation where a piece of legislation like that would be put in place for men. There's no legislation like that on the books.
Okay, what I'm saying is, you said that 64% of women support this, and I guess you think that it's like 50-50, right? 50% of women.
No, it's not 50-50, it's 60. That's not how math works. It's not, you can't say it's 64% and then it's 50-50. No, it's 64 and 36.
One second, listen. It's 64% of women that support abortion, and you assume that 50% of women vote Republican, right?
No, that's not what I'm assuming.
40%.
No. That's not what I'm
what
assuming. Like I don't have to assume anything because we have access to the numbers for this study. But two, I'm not like, I don't think it's pertinent to actually break down and say, well, this is Republican, this is Democrat. I'm saying across the board, women in total in our country support this.
Yeah, I agree. But you need to understand, women vote more for Democrats, okay? Which would mean that even if you put in power a woman that is Republican, okay, statistically, she isn't necessary. She wouldn't necessarily make abortion legal whatsoever, right? Actually, I'd say she probably wouldn't, because if she got to the place of power as a Republican, and I assume you don't want to take the voting right from men, right? You don't want that. That means she was voted by mostly men, okay? And Republican men are usually against abortion, so that would probably be in her what she proposed, what she promised, right? So I wouldn't say that women would necessarily be more pro-abortion than men. Not at all. Like again, we need to see.
Okay. Yeah, I need you to hold. I need you to hold tight for a second. All right, I'm gonna put this on the screen. This is here. Let me do this. Let's do.
I mean, unless you want to take the right of vote from Republicans too, which would.
I don't need you to keep trying to like pontificate. I got you. Let's see here. All right. So this is the breakdown. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Make sure you can see it. All right. So 55% of men voted for Trump in 2024, up from 50% of men in 2020. 46% of women voted for Trump in 2024 compared to 44% of the years prior. You can take a look at the breakdown and how this has actually shifted from 2016, 2020, 2024. And so the point that I'm getting to is that looking at the split as far as women that voted in the 2024 presidential election, 53% to 46%. And even with this 53% to 40% and 46%, 64% of women, higher than any percentage that supported Democrat or Republicans, support abortion rights. So your point saying that, overwhelmingly women support the Democratic Party, you're just wrong, right? But like overwhelmingly, all women come together and say that they support the access to healthcare. So like your point makes no fucking sense, but it does not negate the fact of what we've been talking about, which the fact is you cannot point me to one time that the man's body is being regulated by legislation, but yet we have the woman's body being regulated by legislation. And the reason why this is important, is because men will pass legislation to harm other people, but they will not pass legislation to harm themselves. But even more than that, we need a dramatic change to stop the direction that we're heading in right now.
Okay, so again, you just proved me to be right, by the way. Like, I guess, thank you.
How the fuck did I prove you to be right?
Okay, you just showed in this research that 46 or 44%, depends on the year, of women voted for the Republican Party, meaning that 54 to 56% voted for the
No, 53%. 53% voted for Kamala Harris. 46% voted for Donald Trump. You said overwhelmingly. That's literally a 7% spread. You said overwhelmingly. You said overwhelmingly. And even more than that, I'm telling you that more women support access to abortion than women support either political side. So the fact that 64% of women in our country support access to abortion, while 53% voted for Kamala Harris and 46% voted for Donald Trump, that speaks to the fact that overwhelmingly women support this access to health care.
All right. So again, I'm going to try to explain this again. You showed that 53% of women voted for the Democratic Party, right? So that means that if 64% of women support abortion, that would mean that we have a actual small fraction of women that support both Trump and abortion. Okay, is that clear? That's clear. Do you understand that?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that you understand that what you're saying doesn't actually add up to the point that you're trying to make. Go ahead and finish your point.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that let's say that you agree that at least 90% of the Democratic Party, that women that vote the Democratic Party, support abortion, right?
No.
Can we agree on that?
So the numbers that, and
No?
this is from Gallup. Here it is. Excuse me. The numbers from Gallup break down to because they also put in third party. And so it says here that it's 57%. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I have this broken down in the right split. 87% of Democratic women support, while 40% of I'm sorry, 40%. Hold on one second. 87% and 40% of Republican women, but then 79% of independent women. So taking a look at women that would consider themselves Republican, Democrat, and independent. So Democratic women, 87%. Democratic women, 87%. Independent women, 79%. Republican women, 40%. And if you look at that middle percentage, that 79% independent, they can vote either way. So again, the overarching point that I'm making is no matter if you are Republican, independent, or Democrat, as a whole, across the board in our country, women overwhelmingly support access to health care. But the bigger point is you still cannot name a piece of legislation that has been passed that restricts men's bodies.
How does that relate to the argument? I'm just saying that you can't remove men from leadership. Like how does that
it relates to the argument because men will pass legislation to harm other people while not passing legislation that will harm themselves. Why, if men are so worried about abortion, right? If they're so worried about the fact that they don't want, quote unquote, babies losing their lives, then why wouldn't they advocate for a nationwide or mandatory vasectomy?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Why wouldn't these same men that have power that could pass this law, why aren't they passing laws to mandate men to get vasectomies?
I don't know. I'm not them, right?
But that would be that would be more safe, efficient, effective. Like the actual pros and cons versus a vasectomy and an abortion, it's like the actual vasectomy outweighs it by 1,000,000 miles. So if they really wanted to pass legislation for the reason of, protecting life, then they would go to the source and pass legislation that's based off of vasectomies, not pass legislation that's based off of abortion. So why are they so willing to pass regulations that affect women, but not regulations that affect men?
I would say that vasectomy is not really good because, and that way you can have children, right?
Oh, no. Oh, bub. Oh, now you stepped into my wheelhouse. Chat. You just stepped into my wheelhouse because I am someone who advocates for mandatory vasectomies. Ooh, I got you. Let me say a couple of quick thank yous, and then I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna say a couple of quick thank yous, and I promise you, you're gonna love this one, Stuart. You're gonna fucking love this one. W's in the chat for Bree. Is it Brian? Brian maybe for the $2 super chat and sent a salute. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for Ask the Activista, who sent a $2 super chat to say, good morning, dear Santana. Good morning to you. W's in the chat for Breeman Maybe, who sent a $2 super chat to say, these nutbags lost their goddamn MAGA minds. Yes. W's in the chat for Big Shell, who gifted a super chat. And holy fuck, guys, W's in the chat for Tori. Tori sent a $50 YouTube super chat. Said, I 100% agree with you. Misogyny will make this so difficult, though. We could push for women candidates on both sides, but again, misogyny. Again, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, I agree. But you know what? Like, I got a plan for that. Like, we could talk about that after we get these people on board. But absolutely, holy smokes, guys. W's in the chat for Tori. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for Tori. A million W's in the chat for Tori. W's in the chat for Kathleen. This is Big Shell on YouTube. W's in the chat, Big Shell, who sent a $5 super chat. I'm sorry, $5 donation saying, may I make a clarification? There's a difference between pro-choice and pro-AB. Pro-choice is often conflated as pro-AB. Exactly. But the reality is pro-choice means we want to make sure that people have access that they need to make that choice. Exactly. No one is out here screaming, everybody needs abortions. We're just saying that people should be able to access abortions when needed. W's in the chat for Amanda for the $5 donation saying, use this towards strong coffee to balance out the conversation with this absolute donut. You know it. W's in the chat, Amanda, and W's in the chat for Ashley for the $10 donation saying, happy Friday, Santana Cook. It's actually Friday Junior, but W's in the chat. Thank you so much, Ashley. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat, and I will read that out. All right, Stuart, you are in for a actual treat. Howdy, partner. All right, Stuart, you ready?
I guess.
Okay, Stuart. If men who actually believe that abortion is murder and they're willing to actually regulate women's body and institute a nationwide abortion ban, then they should actually be advocating for mandatory vasectomies. Mandatory vasectomies are cheaper, they're safer, they're more effective, they're reversible. Did you know that a vasectomy is in typical reversible to the same level up to 5 years, and then after that you can still get a reverse, but the chances of the reversal being successful starts to slightly decrease depending on the person. Also, you can actually freeze your sperm prior to the vasectomy, and that'll allow you to, if you get to a point where you're just like, I don't want to get a reverse, you can still have babies because you have your sperm frozen. It's a quick outpatient procedure. Today is Thursday. You can go get a vasectomy today and be in the gym hooping by Monday evening. Like that's how quick, safe, and efficient that outpatient surgery is. And not only that, it's more safe than any form of birth control than a woman can take. Whether we talk about the pill, the shot, IUDs, it's more safe medically for men than any of those things for women. And also, last but not least, it addresses the root cause of the issue. Instead of saying, oh, abortions, women, abortions, if you actually stop the men from being able to provide the sperm to create conception, then you don't even have to worry about when does life start? Is this murder? You completely eliminate all of it. So that's why if you truly wanted to protect human life, you would be advocating for mandatory vasectomies, and we would be passing a law that would mandate boys to actually get vasectomies when they turn 16.
But then, like, how? But then they wouldn't be able to like have children.
Yes, they would. I did you not listen to what I just said?
Freeze their sperm, but that's also not.
It's also reversible, Bub. I just said it's literally reversible.
No, like, I heard you. You can freeze your sperm.
Say it again. Stuart, don't get stun locked on me.
You can freeze your sperm, but and it's reversible. But I guess there are some ways.
Yeah, you can freeze your sperm, but it's also reversible up to 5 years. In typical, it's reversible up to 5 years at the same efficiency. And after 5 years, depending on the person, the efficiency starts to drop slightly. So again, there's no excuse for saying, oh, you stop people from being able to have children. Yeah, you stop them temporarily. And even more than that, right? Let's say if we do it at 16, right? They can wait up until they turn 21. Or if they want to make a decision at 18 when they're adults, they can do that as well. It eliminates those underage pregnancies. It drives down like the actual issue with, you know, women being pregnant through rape or incest. Like, it addresses so many of those actual issues. And again, the whole topic of like abortion is highly debated, because abortion isn't just the, you know, getting rid of, you know, babies. There's abortions that are needed for like DNCs. Like there's actual like medical necessities to have an abortion. So instead of worrying about that, we worry about addressing the root cause, which is the men, and then allow women to have access to healthcare as needed.
But why would you like tell someone what to do with his body? But like, I don't support it. I don't care about abortion.
But like that's literally what's happening right now. Like literally that's what's happening right now. Like legislation has literally legislation. Wait, no. You can sit here and say, why would you? I'm telling you that legislation has actually been like placed on this. Literally, I told you about Oklahoma, but you sat there and said that, oh, well, I told you that men are willing to actually legislate on other people, but not on them. And then you said, well, women don't necessarily agree with it. And who says that they would vote for it? And I told you that overwhelmingly throughout the entire country that this is popular with women. And you said, well, this is important because people don't believe in killing babies. And I'm like, fine, if you don't believe in killing babies, then this is how you fix the problem.
It's not even what I said. I said, okay, maybe I will make my argument clearer. What I'm saying is, how
about instead of making it clearer, you make it better? Like, don't just clarify your argument, make your argument better.
More women support abortion. Okay. I'm not into this topic really. It's not what I came to talk about. More women support abortion, agreed, but that's important. Only 40%, as it showed, of Republican women support abortion, which means the 60% of Republican women do not support abortion. And like, it would be logically speaking that the women that would be running as a Republican.
Wait, hold on. But okay, wait, hold on. You said 60% of Republican women don't support abortion.
You said
no, that's fine. So we take the 60% of Republican women, and we take the 21% of independent women, and we take the 11%. Right?
No, we don't take the independent women, because I'm saying
why are we only caring about what the Republican women are saying? Why do you keep trying to break this down to just the Republican women instead of women as a total? Hold on one second. Sorry, one second. One second. Which species intuition? Hey, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. But please don't spam share. That hurts the live. Only share it out like once or twice. We don't want to share it a ton of times. I appreciate you, but only once or twice. That's awesome. Thank you. Repost the live. That's way more beneficial than actually sharing. Reposting, you're good. Reposting is way more beneficial. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm only counting Republican women because I'm saying in a scenario where a Republican woman is voted, which is not that hypothetical, because there are a lot of Republicans in the country, right? In a scenario where a Republican woman is voted, it would much more likely that she would be against abortion, which just wouldn't help your goal with any shape or form, right? She most likely to be on the 60%, both statistical, and because the Republicans, most of the Republicans, men and women, are against abortion, which means that they would prefer a candidate that would be against abortion. So in a case where a Republican woman is voted to office, okay, it's more likely that she would still be against abortion. And the opposite is true as well. If a Democrat man would be voted for office, it's more likely that he will be pro-abortion more than the Republican women, right?
Yes, based off of the odds and the numbers, that it's more likely that, hold on, it's more likely that Democratic women would support access to abortion versus Republican women would not support access to abortion. Like that's true. That's a true statement. But if you take a look at the actual percentage of Republican women that are in power, right? Not just like the entire base. There, if you take a look at the split of Republicans as of 2025, 28% of women that are in power, 28% of Republicans that are in power, they're women, right? And so you would take a look at the 28% and then look at the 40%, the likelihood of the 40% split between them. But then you have to take in all the other factors into account, right? Because it's not just about the individual women that have gotten into power, what they would or would not advocate for. It's still the entirety of women. Because once you actually get women in power, they can bring it for a vote. And the overwhelming amount of women in the country support access to healthcare. That's the point that you're not getting. That's why I keep saying, why do you keep separating and saying, oh, Republican women? I'm not saying Republican women would not be the only ones voting for this issue. It would be an issue that's laid out. It would be an issue that's laid out across the board for all women. But we've been stuck here in this point for a very long time. So I'm going to rein this back in, and I want you to give me one piece of legislation where men's bodies have been regulated, or I want you to give me an actual coherent thought that is backed by data, source, or information about why removing men as leaders would be a negative versus just saying, oh, democracy, people should be able to vote for who they want. I don't care which one of those you do. And you know what? Take a second. You can think about it. I'm going to say thank you to a couple of people. I need one of those too, because you've been sitting here like floundering in the same spot. W's in the chat for Tess for the $25 donation. Holy shit. Thank you, Tess, for the $25 donation, saying for cooking this guest who's advocating for women to deal with lifelong changes to their bodies by their birth control or pregnancy, but not men having to has an issue with masculinity change temporarily. Love you, fam. I love you so much more, Tess. Thank you so much for that. W's in the chat as well for let's see here. Joy again, who sent a $4.99 YouTube super chat. W's in the chat for Big Shell for the $5 super chat to say, that's what my father did. He got a vasectomy and reversed it when he was married to his new wife. Vasectomies prevent abortion. That's the point that I've been driving home. W's in the chat for Joy for the $4.99 super chat to say, you, Swan Smitty, Casio, my favorite voices for this discourse. Keep going. Absolutely. Thank you. W's in the chat for Wendy for the $1.99 super chat. Just sent the super chat. Just sent the love. W's in the chat for Sin for the $9.99 super chat to say, the irony of being pro-abortion and when being pro-abortion, when vasectomies come up, they suddenly care about people having bodily autonomy. Right? It's fucking wild. W's in the chat for Be Happy for the $4.99 super chat to say, I'm totally voting for mandatory vasectomies. Republican women presidents doesn't create the law. Congress does, and Congress would support pro-choice. Like, that's the point that I was driving home. Also, W's in the chat over on Twitch for the One Mighty Pen, who sent 10 Steam streaks. And also, is it Manders? Manders sent 15 Steam streaks. W's in the chat for those over on Twitch. Guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, you could do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Just like Lance send a $2 donation saying thanks for everything that you do. Thank you, Lance. W's in the chat for Lance. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. All right, Stuart, I need a coherent thought. I need an actual pushback on the premise that having men removed from leadership would negatively impact us, and I need you to quantify it.
Yeah, I made it pretty simple about the abortion part. So say
the abortion part wasn't you didn't give me anything about the abortion part. Like literally you didn't give me anything of substance when it came to the abortion part.
You're suggesting no men leaders. Okay. Then we have a scenario when a Republican woman is voting. Okay. Statistically, she's most likely to be pro-life. Problem is solved. This is not what you're looking for. Now,
who passes laws?
So now, the Congress.
Okay, so if there's a Republican president, but a legislation that's made up of Democrats, does that completely shit on your argument?
No, because who chooses the Congress?
The people that vote. And your whole point was, wait, and your, no, you made me look this up. In the last election, 53% of women voted for Kamala Harris. So if you apply your same logic, even if I grant you a Republican president, 53% of women voted for Kamala Harris. So Congress would overwhelmingly be Democratic. It would be made of Democrats.
If only women would be able to vote.
Yes.
Supporting only women.
Yes.
So you don't support. Okay. So you don't support remove men leaders. You support remove men right to vote.
Remove men from, so it says remove men leaders. That's because it's a background. It's short. But the point that I'm saying is removing men from power, right? The point is removing, hold on one second. Removing men from power. That's why I just said I would disenfranchise myself for 32 years because I wouldn't be able to decide who's the leader anymore. It says that on the background because it's just a bullet point, but yes, that's part of it. Yes, it's all part of it.
Okay, so you don't want men to have the ability to vote at all?
No.
Okay, that's what do you mean? No, you just said.
No, I'm saying no, I don't know. If they can vote, then they have access to power.
So they cannot vote.
No.
Okay, so men. Okay, so you support men. Okay, let's do it simple. Abolish the right of men to vote. Correct or not correct?
When did I say abolish? I didn't say get rid of it forever. I'm saying that it's a moratorium on them being able to vote. 32 years.
For 30 years, men would not be able to vote. You support
32 years. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Why have I been saying this entire time that I support this? What was the basis of my argument? Why have I been advocating for this?
Why have you been advocating for this?
What was I gave you 2 major bullet points. And I said, these 2 things are critical. What are those 2 things, Stuart? If Stuart has 2 apples, come on, Stuart. What are those 2 things?
This is insane. I've never heard.
What are those 2 things, Stuart?
What are things?
What are those 2 reasons I said that I'm willing to go to this extreme? Why? Is it for shits and giggles or shiggles, as I said? That's not what I said.
And and the United States is going to be 250 years old, so therefore.
Yep. And then what's the second thing?
That this has been happening since the establishment of the United States.
No,
so therefore
no,
we need
no,
some
no,
change.
no, no. The two reasons that I said we need to make a dramatic change is because the country's on the cliff and about to go off the edge. The two things that suggest that our country is going off the edge is, number one, the fact that nations last an average of 250 years, and the United States of America is now entering 250 years. And number two, Stuart, I need you, Stuart, are you looking at the camera?
Yes, I am.
Number two, Stuart, I need you to understand that the United States of America is following the track of the last 5 superpowers. Those are the two reasons. We need something dramatic and strong to shift us away and steer us off the curve. That's it.
Yeah, so first, you're being very triggered and angry for some reason that I don't understand.
Who's being triggered and angry? Are you saying me?
You just made a, you know.
Oh, because I did this?
Yeah.
No, I'm not triggered.
Okay,
I'm just, you know what it is? It's a little bit frustrating because, you know, some motherfuckers love ice skating uphill, and that's what you're doing right now, Stuart. You're not locked in. You haven't made an actual connection, or like your entire point this time, like the entire time we've been speaking, your actual point that you've made is, well, that's not how democracy works. But the flaw in you saying that's not how democracy works is, one, that's how democracy has worked in the past, and two, the Republican Party as currently constructed is advocating for removing women's right to be able to vote. You're literally here sitting saying that you're taking away men's right to vote is extreme, but the Republican Party is trying to do that to women right now.
And
can you address that one? Can you address the fact that
I agree it's bad?
No, I don't give a shit about you agreeing that it's bad. Can you address the fact that they're actively trying to do the thing that you said we shouldn't be doing?
Can you show me who's proposing
the
that?
Save America Act.
Who the hell is the Save America Act, bro?
Holy shit, you don't know shit about shit, and yet you're sitting here trying to actually defend this point. The Save America Act, do you not know what the Save America Act is?
I do know, but they still don't have like power.
What is the Save America Act? Yeah, I hear you clicking to look it up. Oh, why couldn't you just say you don't know what it is? Like, why did you have to sit here and say that shit? And so just so you can go look it up. Like, I have no issue with you looking it up, but why would you sit here and lie and say you know what it is and then have to start click looking it up?
I would like to know exactly what it means.
You don't know what it is. All you had to do is say, no, I don't know what it is. And I can tell you, you can look it up as well, but why would you lie and say you know what it is?
Because I partially know, but not exactly like the exact definition.
I'm telling you, like the fragility of men is like, this is the reason why men lead in like substance abuse. But this right here, this is why we refuse therapy. Like all of these things right here is literally the reason why men shouldn't be in power. Because one, we lack the ability to say, you know what, I'm wrong, I fucked up. Two, the ego that we have for some reason tells us that it has to be us. Like all you had to do was say, no, what is it? Or say, oh, give me a second, let me look it up. But you said, yeah, I know what it is, when you knew you were fucking lying. W's in the chat for Big Shell for the $5 super chat to say statistically,
zero validity.
Statistically, I don't care about your chat GTP. I don't care about your chat GTP.
Bro, it's not ChatGPT. What?
Sure. W's in the chat for Big Shell for the $5 super chat that says, statistically, women leaders are less likely to engage in warfare and more likely to provide social benefits and that benefits people. Not all, of course, but most. Exactly. And W's in the chat for Andrew. What up, Andrew? Sending a $1.99 super chat to say, good morning, brother, man. Still Sloppy Joe night. I could really go for some Sloppy Joes tonight. Not gonna hold you. Hey, management, you want to do Sloppy Joes tonight? That would be good. W's in the chat for Jared for the $1 donation. But the guest doesn't know or realize beyond preventing abortions, vasectomies help women's health. My fiance is a cancer survivor and has PCOS. She can't do any birth control without causing herself harm, and we don't want to have kids, so she doesn't pass on MS or cancer. Exactly, like that's absolutely right. And W's in chat for Laureen for the $15 donation. Laureen said, thanks for what you're doing, Santana. Peace, love, and bell bottoms. I know that's right, Laureen. Guys, W's in the chat. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link to in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Keep tapping the screen. 1.1 thousand of us hanging out here. Guys, if you look up at the top and you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. We're trying to get the main account to 100,000 followers and we're at 96,000 followers. So we're 4,000 followers away. If you have not followed me, please hit that follow button, turn on notifications so you know when I go live. Please do all the wonderful things. And I think that it's time that we do it because I don't know where this is going, but I think that it's time to do it. Chat, yes or no? Yes or no? Shall we? Shall we? Nikki said it's about time. You guys are so brutal. Holy smokes. You guys are so brutal. Okay. All right. Stuart, I'm going to let you know what's happening right now. My chat just made a decision that they're going to put a bounty on your head. Now, I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is you're going to be able to stay and continue to make your argument, right? That's the good news. The bad news is if you keep saying shit that's incoherent or that pisses the chat off, they can pay to kick you. So the only thing that you have to do in order for us to be able to continue this conversation and continue this debate, Stuart, is make coherent thoughts and not piss off the chat. You got it? You understand, Stuart? All right, chat. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, $100 bounty. Santana speaks for you. It has to be through Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, $100 bounty in order to get Stuart up out the paint. Guys, do not do it based off of the things that he said before. Don't hold his past thoughts against him. It's starting now, okay? Let's be fair. It's starting now. Stuart, this is your opportunity. But before I let you go, hey, Ari.
Hey, Santana, how are you?
Hey. You wanted to add something. The floor is yours.
Yeah, it was way back at the beginning. So if you want to stick on the say back, that's cool.
No,
but,
go.
Yeah, at the beginning, it was talked about like Stuart here was talking about what chromosomes. Just to be very clear, gender and sex are not the same. Chromosomes have nothing to do with gender at all. So that's just a silly notion as is, right? And so if we're gonna look at an analysis of what the gender identity of man is, absolutely the gender identity has a role to play in how this country has been facilitated, right? The tenets of masculinity, of violence, dominance, competition have all played into the maintenance of patriarchy and also the maintenance of capitalism and white supremacy. And that men are allowed to crash out in different ways that drastically impact our country, right? We do have studies that show that men score low on emotional regulation, emotional intelligence tests, right? And then that plays into their responses into how they handle things in reality, i.e. Donald Trump sending out tweets that drastically impact the economy and also set up the United States for potential warfare. That's there is no emotional regulation in the room with us when it comes to that man. So to act as though men's emotions don't play into how it impacts our society, I always argue actually on my panel that men negatively impact society. This is why we have mass unalivings and death rates, the domestic violence rates towards women. When men's sports teams lose in the United States, domestic violence go up by 10%. 10%. We do have studies that say that. So yes, the negative things in our society, that's men.
Stuart?
Should I address her or you?
I would like for you to engage directly with Ari. She just came up here and like gave you a shit ton of facts. Why would you be talking to me now? Like, did you not listen to anything that Ari said?
No, you were talking to me first, so
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. Ari literally came up here and just actually spoke and made points. Please address what Ari said.
All right.
Also, guys,
so
there's $5 of the $100 kick fund that's already been added. Jilly has already said to tell you tell the guests articles don't count. Check Congress site. Exactly. So there's 5 of the $100 kick fund that's already in. Just an FYI. That's an update to you before you start speaking, Stuart. Go ahead.
So for the first thing she said was bad gender and sex is not the same, but that's obviously wasn't my point, right? What I said, what I said is that that the host is yet to show a correlation that men are worse, and obviously it's not about the all the transgender idea. It's about just the no correlation between men leading to a worse sort of way.
We're having a tracking error. Do you need me to restate everything I said?
I'm tempted to say yes, because I think he just like once he heard a woman speaking, his ears like completely shut off. So I'm tempted to say yes, but I'm also tempted to say no, because fuck this guy. He should have paid attention. Ari, it's your call.
It's okay. It's okay. I know sometimes when it comes to men, I have to speak a little bit slower because they can't track. Masculinity has allowed them not to pay attention. Okay, so you said chromosomes. What chromosomes are correlated to what is happening in our society? That means the identity of male, or the assignment of male is correlated to what is happening in our society. And my answer to that was no, there's no correlation, because sex and gender are not the same, and gender has nothing to do with chromosomes. I did not speak anything of trans people. That is weird to bring that up. The obsession with trans people is always fucking flabbergasts me. So now that we got chromosomes out the way and that sex and gender are not the same, yes, there is a heavy correlation between the identity and the social construction of man and masculinity and what is currently happening in our society. The tenets of masculinity, especially in the United States, are violence, competition, dominance, stoicism, all of these things. We can look at the men's self-deletion rates. We can look at the men's violence rates, and that they commit over 90% of the violence in the United States. And we can look at emotional intelligence tests that men score very low on, right? And then when we're talking about how that negatively impacts our society, right? The Dorito Cheeto rapist in chief puts out a tweet because he's having a tantrum, right? And then negatively impacts the economy, or almost puts the United States in a state of warfare every time. We can look at the domestic violence rates, that when NFL teams play and their teams lose, we see domestic violence go up by 10% because men can't cope with a sports team losing. We can look at the mass violence rates in terms of mass pew-pewings, right?
Hey, Art, just a FYI, you can say the things here. Like the only thing I don't say on my live is the name of drugs. Like everything else, like fuck it. We talk like adults around here.
I love that. We can look at the mass shooting rates that overwhelmingly are perpetuated by men writing manifestos because they're struggling to cope with society, right? all these negative things. We can even look at the creation of racism. That was created by a man, right? So we can look at all these things and attribute it to what is the social identity of man.
Okay. So you said that men cause more violence, and that's not even something that I would disagree on. But we need to see the reason for that, right? Obviously, if we bring here some sort of aliens that are much stronger than us biologically, it would make much more sense that they would be the ones with higher violence rates.
Wait.
Regardless
So is your point that since men have like a physical difference between women, that it's only logical that men are more violent than women?
Not exactly. What I'm saying is that, logically speaking, the stronger party between two individuals would usually be the cause for more violence.
That's not true. We have historical and anthropological evidence. Prior to, how long has patriarchy existed widespread?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, so then I would not make these arguments if I were you, because you're doing the thing right now, right? You're doing the issue with masculinity right now. You're proving the point, right? Because what masculinity allows men to do is to feel as though that they can speak on topics. Ultra-crepidarian. Let's say the word. Ultra-crepidarian. And it's overwhelmingly men that do this, right? You feel as though you can speak on topics without the education, the nuance of it, right? And you're talking out your butt right now. You're talking out your ass because you don't even know when we saw patriarchy, when we saw the rise of patriarchy and the difference between patriarchal societies and matriarchal societies, and how the differentiation between men and women were treated between the two societies. Patriarchy, in terms of human existence, it's a relatively newer concept. We only saw the rise of patriarchy about 15,000 years ago. Humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, have been around for 300,000 years. So no, if you're looking at this identity of man, it makes sense because they're stronger, quote unquote. One, you're still shifting towards biology. Again, the identity of man has nothing to do with biology. But two, then we would have saw the rise of patriarchy sooner than what we saw, and we didn't.
Also, I would love to call out the fact that just because men have a monopoly on violence or try to have a monopoly on violence does not mean that it's just cause. Like literally sitting here saying because men can enact violence dictates that they have the ability to enact violence. Like that's a wild fucking premise. Last but not least, we're up to $15 on the kick fund. So guys, we have $100 bounty on Stuart's head. If you want to get Stuart up out the paint, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. $85 left on the $100 kick fund. Also, guys, please, please, please make sure we're taking care of Ari while she's up here. Show Ari some love. Hit that follow button. And mods, can we make sure that we have Ari's pay links running in the poll in the bio? Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Go ahead, Stuart.
I've never said that I justify the violence, but I said that logically speaking, usually the more violent party would be the stronger. Like I'd say the lions are more violent than zebras, correct? Like you would agree on that because
that's a terrible comparison. You would want to look within species, right? And the ones who actually defend the pride amongst lions and lionesses is the lioness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if you see, for example, which one of them cause more harm to each other, then
yes, like lions are literally just sorry to say this, a dick piece. They're literally just there for procreation purposes.
Literally. The only time that lions are brought in the pride is to like finish off a large kill. Like outside of that, like the lioness, they lead the pride. They hunt. They raise the cubs. Like they do all of this other stuff. They just bring the male lion in to procreate or to finish off a big animal. That's it. And even once the lionesses, if they feel like the lion is weak or, not, living up or whatever, they will excommunicate a lion. Like they'll literally put a lion out of the pride. So like, that's a wild statement.
I also find this argument to be really disgusting because part of the violence that men perpetuate is sexual violence. And so when you make this nature argument, are you saying men can't help themselves but to do sexual violence?
Again, the reason men commit more sexual violence is because they have the more capability, right? If a woman would want to do this, the average man would be able to defend himself better than the average woman would be able.
So he's gonna die on this hill. He's gonna die on this hill. Men rape because it's natural.
Oh wait, that shit's getting clipped. No, that's just getting clipped. That shit is getting clipped. Holy fuck! You just said the reason why men engage in sexual violence is because they physically can do it, but women can't physically do it to men. That's why they don't do it.
No.
We're up to $20 of the $100 kick fund, guys. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and link in the bio. Santana speaks for you. We're up to $20 of the $100 kick fund. You literally just said that.
It's not what I said. No, I didn't. I said that the average woman have less capability to defend herself against.
You're acting as though women are the only people who get assaulted and are recipients of sexual violence. Men are also recipients of sexual violence, and so are children. Right? So to keep making this argument, right? So we don't see women overwhelmingly doing sexual violence, right? We don't see that, and we don't overwhelmingly see
himself. Do you agree?
You already made a really disgusting argument. You look terrible right now. If I was you, I would just stop talking. I would just stop.
Hey, can you please stop talking over Ari, Stuart? Please stop talking over Ari, please and thank you.
But you strongly
please stop talking over Ari, please and thank you. Sorry, Ari, go ahead.
You made the really bad argument, not me. You said that, not me. I did not force you into a corner. I asked you, I made a statement and you clarified that statement and you doubled down on it. That's on you, buddy. Now you sit with that, not me. Overwhelmingly, when we're looking at sexual violence towards children, it is overwhelmingly men that are committing sexual violence towards children. Even though women could have the capability to do that as an adult, they're still not doing it. So this argument still does not matter and is really fucking gross because you're basically doing, because we're stronger, we can and we do, which makes it as though men can't control themselves.
Yeah, the rapists obviously cannot control themselves. They are sick people that obviously have some problems. But the fact is that they are physically stronger.
What's consent?
What's
consent?
What's consent?
What's
consent?
Consent depends on the concept, but our context is giving. It has some. It's giving permission.
Stop for a second. Stop for a second and think about this. I gotta call this out really quick. Guys, we're up to $35 of the $100 kick fund. I see people sending it over on YouTube. Guys, it has to go through Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. The kick fund only goes through the pay links, not YouTube. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I just saw something flash on the screen. But if you guys want to add to the kick fund, it has to go through the pay links. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Sorry. Try it again. Start over. What's consent?
Consent is, at our context, giving permission to sexual intercourse that is not under pressure, any sort of pressure by any of the parties.
Okay. So do you understand that masculinity potentially can pose a threat towards, and the idea of man can potentially cause a threat towards women when engaging in intercourse?
Can you demonstrate men don't?
Men overwhelmingly do violence, right? So that should be something that's considered when trying to engage in intercourse.
Men do more violence. So sorry, couldn't hear that.
Men do more violence. You've agreed to that.
Yeah.
And those for who, because he doesn't know it, for those who wonder what I'm doing, I'm going through the CRISP model without saying the words for it. If you guys want to know what CRISP is, please look it up. It's really important to understanding consent.
Isn't it fries or
do
something?
you think, yeah, understanding the letters does not mean you understand consent, right? Just because a child can sing the alphabet doesn't mean they understand what each letter means and how to imply those letters. So, do you understand that masculinity coexists with violence? The idea of masculinity.
What do you mean by that? Like, not sure.
You've already agreed that men overwhelmingly perpetuate violence.
Yeah.
So masculinity, and that's not biology. We already talked about that. Sex and gender are not the same thing. Man is not a biological term.
Okay, but you agree that even men who are not biologically males are also taking usually testosterone, so that would mean that they have stronger and more potential to build strength.
They're not the ones over here committing the violence. That's cis men overwhelmingly.
Yeah, and the cis men are stronger than the cis women, which both are the majority of.
Yeah, again, I gave you another example that cis women regardless could do harm onto children, but they're overwhelmingly not. It's men.
I mean,
so all you're telling me with this is that men can't control themselves, and you still haven't been able to show me what consent is, which we do have studies that show that why sexual violence happens is because men don't care nor respect consent. That's why sexual violence happens, and they're crimes of power in terms of asserting dominance under a patriarchal construct and maintaining the hierarchy.
I agree that some men don't understand that.
No, I would argue a lot of men don't, and you don't, because you still have been able to, you don't understand what I'm talking about. So do you think if I ask, hey, can we have sex, right, and you say no, right, and I keep asking, and then you eventually say yes, was consent present?
No, because you were repeatedly asking that after I explicitly told you that I don't want to do this.
Okay, great. If I ask you if we can soak and you say yes, is consent present?
Soak?
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Like, is that censorship or?
No, that's a real word. Can we soak? And you say yes, is consent present?
I don't know what it means. What it means to soak.
Okay, cool. You said yes, is consent present?
Yes to what?
To soaking. You said yes. Is consent present?
So it is a censorship.
You're literally fucking missing the point. It's going so far over your head. Holy shit. Okay, so if you've already said yes, but you don't know what it is, think about it for a second. How can you consent to something if you don't know what it is?
Oh, so
God damn.
Didn't understand what you're talking about, man. So no, if I consent to something I don't know what it is, then no, it's not consent.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, you need to know. So informed. I'm glad we got it. Can you revoke it?
Yeah.
At any time?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to go back to the first part. Do you understand the potential threats that men pose to women?
Yes.
Is that something that should be considered when asking to engage in sex with women?
How can this be asked? What?
Answer my question first. Is this something that should be considered? So you're saying no?
I'm not sure how. Like, can you explain how?
But so you don't even know how to consider this?
Not really. It's just
okay. Great. So then you don't know consent, right?
What?
Yeah. These things all should be considered. all hierarchies and potential threats, even racial dynamics, should be considered when asking for consent because of the potential threat that they pose and potential spaces for coercion, right? White people pose a threat to Black people, right? And so if a white man asks a Black woman, hey, can we have sex? Right? There should be a very adamant and informative conversation around the dynamics there and making sure that all parties are consenting to the engagement, because he can weaponize his whiteness against her. That's what we're talking about. All hierarchies need to be considered when engaging in intercourse. Sorry, sex isn't a fucking movie. It's not a movie. It's not a movie. You just should not just go out, do the fucking thing. You should be considering whether these people actually want it or have the ability to consent to the engagement.
I still don't understand how that relates to what I was talking about, but fine.
Because you don't understand consent, and it proves the point.
What point?
What's the difference between sex and sexual violence?
This wasn't even a point. Like, the point was that this guy wants to take my
no. Hold on 1 second. Wait 1 second. 1 second, Stuart. See, the issue is that you don't know how to connect the dots. You don't know how to play tic-tac-toe. You don't know how to actually color in the lines. The point that's being made is that all of these factors play into why I say men need to be removed from leadership. It's literally because of these things. It's because men as a whole, we don't understand consent. It's because men as a whole, we perpetuate violence and sexual violence on everyone, men, women, and children. All of these things go into the cake of why we have to remove men from leaderships. Just because you're not tracking doesn't mean that it doesn't have a purpose in fulfilling the point. You have a limited scope of knowledge, and we, specifically Ari right now, is breaking it all the way down. Speaking of which, guys, Ari pay links are running in the Ari pay links are running in the poll right now, guys. Make sure you guys are showing Ari some love. Make sure for all this labor that Ari is engaging in, make sure we are showing Ari some love. 1.3 thousand people hanging out here. Let's get our coins up. Let's show Ari some love. The pay links are running in the in the poll. And last but not least, we do have a $100 bounty on Stuart. We are at $75 of the $100 bounty. So if you guys want Stuart up out the paint, $25 left in the $100 bounty. Stuart, would you like to respond to any of those things?
Yeah. Is it temporal that men don't understand consent, that masculinity is danger, all that? Is it temporal?
We do have data on that. We do have data, but really quick also to make this all go full circle for you to help you make the connections, right? We have a rapist in chief right now as the president of the United States who is actually held liable for assaulting E. Jean Carroll, right? But no one cared about that. We also have video footage of him saying to grab a woman by her privates, right? Which like is not consensual, right? To just grab her without her permission by her privates, absolutely inappropriate. It shows a lack of understanding consent. But for men, overwhelmingly who voted for him, it was overwhelmingly men who voted for him. That was not enough, right? A president who does not respect a woman's autonomy and her body and her humanity was not enough. So it shows complacency, right? Is a part of the problem, right? So just because you didn't actively do the harm, like the rapist and chief voting for that, right, shows how much you're okay with that harm being done to women. So that's enough in itself, overwhelmingly, that how much men are a fucking problem in this country, right? Now
that wasn't my point, right? It wasn't really.
That's the point, overarching, to make it all connect for you.
I asked, is it temporal that men don't on a whole? We have
studies from the American Psychological Association that say masculinity is a health crisis to men themselves. The idea of masculinity is a health crisis to men themselves. And we have a study from Brown University that says masculinity is a public health crisis because of the violence men portray onto society. So if you're asking me if masculinity is a danger, right? Yes, it is.
No,
we have studies that say so.
I'm asking, is it temporal? Like, would it end at some point of time, or is just all men forever would be like?
Oh yeah, no, we can
yeah,
absolutely abolish it. We can. I'm the perfect person for that. I'm a gender abolitionist. Get rid of this shit. We don't need it.
We don't need what, men?
Yeah, don't need it.
So, all right. So the problem is men themselves, not like something inside them, not their personality or something. The problem is
their personality, yes, because their personality is constructed around the identity of man.
Existing, correct? It's man being existing. That's the problem.
It's constructed around the identity of man, the social construct of man. We get rid of the social construct of man, that doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, bye bye.
All right. All right. So basically, if it won't just go away at some point of time, like if men would stay, then toxic masculinity, that would stay forever. Then we should take men vote right forever as well, not for 32 years or whatever, right, Mr. Santana?
That's not the argument that I made. I agree with Ari in the sense of the need to abolish that. The overall point that I'm making is that men have an inability to lead and effectively lead at this current point. And so at the very least, until they're properly trained, until we are properly trained, we shouldn't have power. That's my point. Now, Ari makes a bigger point, but my direct point is we need to be trained better.
So wait, according to you, Ari, do you think that men right to vote should be abolished?
Oh, I'm the wrong person. I don't believe in electoralism.
You don't believe in what, sorry?
Electoral politics.
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be electoral, like any kind of voting right, any country, any place, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, as long as the social construction of man exists, yeah, no, I don't believe men. I believe that men should be put on a fucking island.
Great. It's great to hear that people think that I'm not allowed to vote simply because
did that hurt your fifis?
That's
great. Did it literally hurt your fifis? Did you notice how? Wait, did you notice how? Did you notice how Ari made that statement and I didn't even flinch?
I know of the existence of the so-called simps.
No. Oh, the so-called simps. Okay. No, see, you know what it is? It's not that I'm a so-called simp. It's that I am emotionally regulated. I understand the point that Ari's making, and I understand that men are overwhelmingly a danger to everyone. And while I am a part of men, that's why I've been saying we the entire time. The point that I'm making is I understand the reasoning behind what she's saying, and I'm not going to let my feelings override the actual substance of what she's saying. So
it's not feelings.
No. It's literally the fifis in your tum-tum. Nope. It's literally the fifis in your tum-tum. You're uncomfortable.
I pay taxes?
I don't know. I don't fucking know you, Stuart. I don't know if you pay that's what you say.
Right to vote.
That's what you say. Listen, Stuart, that's what you're saying. Sure. Right now, Stuart, right now,
that's how it works.
Right now, you're proving that men are emotional. Can you please check your emotions, bring it back, and let's
emotional.
No, you're being emotional.
I pay taxes.
Hey, Bubba, it's okay, Stuart. Stuart, stop. I'm telling you, you've done really good because we still haven't made that bounty on your head yet. Right, we're only at 75 of the 100. The chat, for some reason, still wants you here. So you're still here. Don't crash out and have them kick you by closing out the bounty. Lock the fuck in and listen to what I'm saying. All right? Stuart, the point that I'm making is that you are getting emotionally invested and you feel specifically targeted, and you think that you have a right to comfort. And so hearing what Ari is saying, you're taking it personal and thinking that Ari's talking about Stuart. Ari's not talking about Stuart. Ari's talking about men. Now, overall, Ari doesn't know Stuart, but Stuart's actually showing that he's a POS. But the bigger point is overall, the actual data, the data is what Ari is basing her statements off of. Her opinion is based off of facts and logic, and your opinion and your reaction is based off the fifis and your tum-tum.
Okay, so what I'm saying.
Hold on, Stuart. Let me make these connections for you. Santana, can I talk to you for a second?
Sure. Let's have a quick sidebar.
Yeah.
What's up, Ari?
Santana, if I say, when I say I want men to go away, does that mean I physically want you to go away, Santana?
No, not at all.
No. Yes. What do you think? What do you think that means? What do you think that means, Santana?
Yeah, I think what you're actually referring to is the harmful nature of what men represent, the way that they perpetuate violence, harm, sexual abuse, all of those types of things that are wrapped up into what a man is, toxic masculinity, fragility, all of those things, the overall construction and the point of what society deems to be a man, you want that gone.
Absolutely. So does that mean I want men, like actual physical bodies, to go bye-bye?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
no.
Yeah.
No, I want the social construction to go bye-bye. But this is part of masculinity, right, Santana?
Yeah.
That men's identities are so contingent and attached to this social construction that they can't see themselves without the social identity of man.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, like why it's so hard for them to, like, not them, us, but him specifically in this moment. Why do you think it's so hard for him to hear these things, Ari? Because, like, to me, I hear them like,
I
that
pay
makes sense.
taxes.
Hey, this is a sidebar, Stuart. We're not talking to you. I'm talking to Ari. Why do you think it's so difficult for him? I don't get it right now.
I think it's that masculinity we've been talking about. So fragile. He just can't see beyond himself.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I would think, right? Like, they would, like, if it was me talking to you right now, I would be like, you know what? I want to be a better person. Maybe I should listen to this person who's actually giving me information, and maybe listen to what these women are saying, because, hey, they're the ones being affected. I don't know. That's what I would think.
I don't think so, because I heard the abortion conversation earlier, and I don't think he really cares about what women say.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Hey, Stuart, are you still there?
Yeah. Didn't you let the chat?
No. Were you doing the weird stuff?
What the hell are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. Were you doing the weird stuff?
Just from the conversation view, if I would want to have anything like that.
It seems like you're one of the type of people when, like, you actually like when you lose, you rage quit, right? That's what it seems like. But am I right? You seem like the type that. What were you just doing right now when you swiped out, Stuart? Be honest. Keep it funky with me. What were you doing? Were you reporting?
Your mama.
Oh, you were reporting. Oh, you're such a fragile little boy. Why? What was the point of you reporting? Did that make you feel big? You know nothing's gonna happen, right? Yes, you can report from. It shows us when you swipe out of the panel, slap nuts. You're not even smart. But don't worry. That bounty already came through. They are so fragile. They're so fragile, Ari. It's so, the weirdest thing to me is, like, when someone is losing a debate, or like, I've never been in a situation where I'm like, I'm so mad that I can't get my point across, I'm gonna go tell.
I mean, he already looked terrible. He literally was justifying men's sexual violence. And so there was no comeback from that. It was just more at that point, just me trying to get out the information of masculinity, and it is something that can be unpacked. And so I agree with Santana that, like, while we're still engaging in electoral politics, men do need to probably take a step back and unpack what masculinity is and how that plays into society.
Yeah, I mean, the point that I've been driving home, Ari, is like, I know how a lot of my friends, you guys feel about like electoral politics. I still engage in it. And I'm literally advocating for limiting my ability to engage in something that I still do. Like, I think, I mean, I genuinely mean this. I think like our society would be better if we let women actually take the role and guide us, at least for a little while. Like, let's try it. Right. I mean, we've tried men. Let's try women. So I don't know.
I appreciate you for having me up, though, Santana. It was a fun conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you, Ari. W's in the chat for Ari, guys. W's in the chat for Ari's, and W's in the chat for all of you. W's in the chat for all of you, especially coming through that kick fund before he turned into a weirdo. It's so interesting how they crash out in like the weirdo aspect, as far as like, oh, I'm going to report. That's such a fucking weird thing. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart. Me, it's only one coin. 1.3 thousand people hanging out, guys. Make sure that you are hitting that follow button. Look up at the top. If you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. Hit that follow button. We are trying to get to 100,000 followers. We're at 96,000 now. So make sure you hit that follow button. And only 36 new followers on the stream. I know there's more than 36 people that's watching right now that has not followed me. So guys, please, please, please look up here. Hit that follow button. Turn on notifications. Send your daily heart me. Chewy, hi. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background? Chewy, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background? Okay, I'm gonna drop you down. Hi, Jace. Are you? Hey, don't do that. Seriously, you're a kid. I don't find that funny or cute or like pleasing. Please don't do that to me. Like, I understand that like other people, you do that to other people. Please don't do that to me. You can't be up here if you're not 18, and I don't appreciate like the coming and screaming thing. Please and thank you. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. If you are a friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. You said, come on, bro. It's a little funny. It's not funny to me. I mean, I don't like trolls. And also, I don't like people breaking, like disrespecting boundaries. I think like respecting people's boundaries is super important. So like, you may think it's funny, and I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, but I definitely, I'm like, other lives, sure. If they dig it, sure, but not on my life. Like, that's my boundary. AJ, what are you back for? Didn't we just talk yesterday?
Yeah, I feel like we had a productive conversation. We only went over one prompt though.
So you came back.
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you feel like we didn't have a productive conversation?
I'm not even gonna hold you, AJ. I don't remember what we talked. I just remember we talked. What did we talk about? No, and it's no disrespect to you, but I talked to a lot of people.
No, I completely understand. Now we talked a little bit about remove men leaders, how I thought, we could go about it a different way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I remember that conversation now. Which point would you actually want to talk about today then?
Yeah, so I was kind of listening to that one. It's kind of the same. I wanted to see what you mean by new constitution, because like I would say we get a new constitution all the time with the way they do these laws, especially with I'm a big 2A guy, so.
That's interesting. Okay, one second. Army wife, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
No, I'm sorry. That was an accident.
Okay, I'm gonna Drop you down. Thank you. All right, AJ, give me 2 seconds. Let me thank a couple of people. Let me get caught up on this, and then we can get into it, okay?
Gotcha.
Guys, I'm gonna run through these really quick just to make sure we're all caught up. W's in the chat for Tori for the $10 super chat to say epitome of you if you don't have to the epitome of you ain't got a lie to kick it. Exactly. W's in chat for Andrew for the $4.99 super chat to say I hate not coming up on the live anymore, but I don't disagree with anything. Don't worry, we'll have some new topics soon, and maybe you'll disagree with those. Andrew. W's in the chat for Julius for the $10 donation super chat to say, hey Santana, I love it when you bring up the topic of vasectomies. It totally freaks them out, and it's always different when the shoe's on the other foot. No uterus, no say. Exactly. Like, it's not even logical, honestly. W's in the chat for Activista for the $10 super chat to say Western society has taught boys not to express their feelings and to be tough, which dismisses emotional intelligence. Completely agree. W's in the chat for Madam, who sent a $10 donation, said please add this to the kick fund. Thank you, Madam. W's in the chat for consistent me, who sent a $5 super chat. Just the $5, just the love. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for the lady who added $2 to a super chat to say, Santana, you're wise and I appreciate you fighting for us always. Absolutely always. W's in the chat for Hello Panda, who sent a $20 super chat to say, genuine question since I'm new to this is saying men shouldn't have the right to vote discrimination against men similar to women aren't allowed to vote? Thank you for everything that you do. It's not only in the sense of the reasoning why I say that, and then also the fact that like it's happened before. And the entire basis of my point with that is like, we're on a course for something that's irreversible, and we have to look at extreme measures. W's in the chat for Argesto for the $5 super chat to say, John Adams laughed at Abigail for suggesting women vote. It took over 100 years. This guy is horrified that men won't vote for 32 years to support male fragility. Exactly. W's in the chat for Lady Balls, who sent a $2 super chat to say, I believe every snowflake is equal. I believe every snowflake was unique until MAGA. Exactly. W's in the chat for Roberta, who added $10 to the kick fund. Thank you for that, Roberta. W's in the chat for Junior, who added $10 to the kick fund. W's in the chat for Daria, who added $5 to the kick fund. W's in the chat for Daria, who added 10 more. Said that they're convinced he has assaulted people. Holy shit, 10 more for the kick fund. W's in the chat for Lance, who added 5 to the kick fund. W's in the chat for Frankie, who added 3 to the kick fund. Absolutely. W's in the chat for Trisha, who added 2 for the kick fund. W's in the chat for Sumerian, who added $10, said he's definitely assaulted someone before. I think so. Who added 10 for the kick fund. W's in the chat for Molly, who added 10 for the $10 for the kick fund. W's in the chat for Tess, who added $15 for the kick fund. And then Tess followed up with another $25 and say, kick, women pay taxes too, yet they're trying to take away our vote. Like, that's the point that he wasn't getting. W's in the chat for Creative Nikki, who added $25. He no longer has the right to speak for the fifis in his tum-tum. Exactly. W's in the chat for Kimberly, who added $10, say, I pay taxes too. Meanwhile, I'm about to lose my rights, body and voting. F you, Stuart. Right. And W's in the chat for Marie for the $5 donation, said, I pay taxes. Suck it, Stuart. W's in the chat for all the donos, guys. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links, and link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. 1.7 thousand people hanging out, guys. If you look up at the top and you see the word follow, you're not following me. Hit that follow button. We're on our way to 100,000 followers, and we only have 42 new followers on this stream. So make sure you hit that follow button. If you're over on YouTube, subscribe. If you're over on Twitch, we're at 1,014 subscribers on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on YouTube, all across the board. And if you'd like to support the live, pay links and link tree in the bio. All right, AJ, you want to talk about the new constitution, and you would like to hear my premise as far as why we need a new constitution, right?
Yeah, I just also want to know what you mean by new constitution. Does that mean just any change would be considered a new constitution under your view, or like you want to like completely wipe everything?
Yeah, I want to start over from scratch. Also, welcome in, Fax Raid. Sorry, welcome in, Fax Raid. Welcome in, guys. I appreciate you to the moon and back. Fax, if you're watching, I saw your text and I didn't get to respond the other day. But Facts, if you're watching, if you want to come up now, you can. I'm texting him just in case he doesn't see this. Yeah, so the premise of what I've been speaking on is the fact that the United States Constitution, when it was first written, it was written for white men that own land, right? And ever since that point of white men that own land, everyone else had to be given the rights that are in the Constitution. And even though people have had to be given those rights within the Constitution, while some people were have been given rights, some people have been rights have been stripped away. The Supreme Court has had to rule on whether or not people get rights. All of this has amounted to the fact that not every single American citizen has all the same rights. And so I think that we need to completely get rid of the current Constitution as it stands. Rewrite the Constitution so every single person that's an American citizen gets access to all the same rights, and then we can negotiate and debate what additional rights should be added, like 2A and all this other stuff.
Yeah. So do you? I could partially agree with that, but do you not think that? Do you think it would be a lot different, or?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I feel like you agree with a lot of the stuff based on how I've heard you talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is ensuring that no person is like their actual ability to be deemed as human and have access to human rights should be something that is up for negotiations. I'm sorry, sidebar really quick. Hey, Donald Robinson, get up here, you fucking coward. Stop making weirdo videos about me and get up here and debate me. I just sent you another request and I muted you for this entire live. Stop being a weirdo and get up here and debate me. So that's the point. Like, there shouldn't be a situation where that American citizens not only have different rights depending on like their actual sex, but also it shouldn't be the fact that American citizens' rights can be up to interpretation based off of like the laws at that time. Or I'm sorry, based off of the whatever agenda that's being pushed.
Okay, well, see, I feel like my argument would be that we have a new constitution all the time with the revisions that they do to it, specifically with, the Second Amendment.
I disagree. A couple of reasons why I disagree. One, because adding articles and amendments, that's not a new constitution. That's insanity. Because it's literally doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And we've done this over and over and over as far as making changes to with articles and amendments. And we're still in the position that we're in today. And then even if you talk about the Second Amendment, right, like the last real change to the Second Amendment was in 2008, when like the actual quote unquote protection for individuals was made based off of the actual Supreme Court ruling. So
what about 2016?
The bump stock ban? Yeah, I mean, like that was just saying that couldn't happen. I mean, like the actual change as far as like anything of substance. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like there's been, but that lends to my point as far as
that was a big thing.
It was, but my point it lends to the fact that people continue to actively try to violate the Constitution because it's not expressly written, and it's not expressly written because it was written before, like when people were riding horses and shooting muskets. Like that's the issue. People used to wear buckles on their shoes when the Constitution was written, right? I don't know about you, but I haven't wore buckles on my shoes since like forever. I'm not a leprechaun or anything like that. So my point being is like it needs to be updated. And so I'm going to do this because I want to make sure that, in fact, if you want to jump in and add anything to this, I don't know if you have any opinions on this as well, but you can do so. But I'm gonna break out the howitzer really quick, and this is a big deal. This is a big deal. I'm just gonna let you know right now. This is a big deal. So the point that I'm trying to get across is that not only do I think that it's important for us to have a new constitution, it's something that our founding fathers actually advocated for. This is not a Santana opinion. This is literally a founding father opinion. And I say this in the sense of understanding, who these people are, what they were about, and all this other stuff. But even the founding fathers said that I was right. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind, read this out for me.
The question whether one generation of men has a right to bind another seems never to have, hold on, let me pull my phone, have been started either on this or our side of the water. But between society and society, or generation and generation, there is no municipal obligation, no umpire but the law of nature. We seem not to have perceived that by the law of nature, one generation is to another as one independent nation to another. You want me to keep going?
Yep.
On similar ground, it may be proved that no society can make a perpetual constitution or even perpetual law. The earth belongs always to the living generation. Every constitution, then, and every law naturally expires at the end of 19 years. If it be enforced longer, it is an act of force and not of right.
Yeah. So the reason why I bring this up is because Thomas Jefferson, not only one of the authors or co-authors of the Constitution, but advocated this prior to the Constitution being signed, advocated for this after the Constitution was signed, and was something that he was very passionate about. Now, the caveat that I give to this is like 19 years. I would say like 19 years was probably like 50 years to them at that time because of lifespan. But even Thomas Jefferson, one of the people that fought, bled, and died the Constitution, actually said that it was important for us not to bind generation to generation based off of the original Constitution or laws.
In other words, Santana, our founding fathers were progressives.
Right.
No, yeah. I mean, obviously our founding fathers were liberals. I mean, you guys know that.
So,
but yeah, but like I would argue we could do that without dismantling the Constitution today with our power.
Well, again, sorry, go ahead, Fax. You got it.
Oh, I was going to say, thanks for having me up, brother. Appreciate that. I was going to say, AJ, I mean, but as to what, the excellent reference that Santana just took you through, our society built on the constitutional that we have is intended to progress, is intended to move forward. That is by design. So the debate I always have when I'm debating conservatives, what are you trying to conserve? Like, what are you trying to save? Because that's contradictory to the founding of our nation. We're supposed to be evolving. We're supposed to be expanding rights, not restricting rights.
Well, I would argue that, a lot of rights are being restricted. Like, I'm super pro 2A, and like I would argue that, felons not having rights to guns, certain people saying, trans individuals should not have guns. It's, astonishing to me, and I'm greatly against that. And I feel like the progressive movement is going towards that ban.
But see, and again, I think that even more so highlights the point that I'm making, right? The fact that Donald Trump is trying to restrict constitutional rights based off of someone being transgender, like that's something that's only debatable because it's not completely solidified within our Constitution. And so if we solidify these things and give all human rights to everyone, regardless of anything, then that's no longer up for debate. And that eliminates the attack on the actual constitutional rights that we solidify. Like, that's even more of a reason because, again, articles, amendments, all this other stuff, we've been doing this, and it is consistently has been attacked. I mean, heck, Donald Trump himself has attacked the Second Amendment multiple times.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that. Just like how a lot of conservatives, disagreed with the bump stock ban.
Yeah, so again, like I feel like you would get on board because it would solidify and codify those things that you feel like shouldn't be touched.
Would you say you're a progressive sometimes?
Oh no, I'm a leftist. I want more.
Do you? Yeah, you have progressive views.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I heard you saying the other day, you wanted to, bring back the what was it, 1984 assault weapons ban, or whenever it was.
You didn't hear me saying that. I mean, I do think that.
I thought you were saying that.
No, I mean, I do think that like getting rid of the sale of assault rifles would actually be overwhelmingly positively beneficial. But I didn't say anything about wanting to bring the ban back. I've never said that. But like, that sounds base as hell to me.
I'd bring it back. You want to know why, AJ?
Yeah, why?
Because society has a responsibility to address public health, civic calamities. Number one cause of death in our country are children for children to the ages of 1 and 18 are firearms. So our government, our society, our policies have a responsibility. Hold on, bro. Our society has a responsibility to address things like that. And I'm a firearms owner. I grew up around them. I've got 3 now. I have no issues with that. The reality is we have a responsibility to address public health issues. That's why I support it.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, here's my answer. Do you not? Well, here's my question first. With that statistic, if you could pull it up, it is heavily skewed with suicides. That's just the honest truth.
Yes, and that's the craziest point you guys try to make. For some reason, you think that like firearm violence shouldn't include suicides. Like it's still using a weapon to end a life. Yes, I understand that it's self-inflicted, but it's still like using a weapon to end a life. The actual methods of taking one's life is less effective if you remove firearms. So like I don't understand what you guys think the point is by saying that.
It's just dogma, man. It's like, not. See, like I can agree with you that the right attacking trans is dogma. It's
transgender people,
you know, political dogma.
Not trans, transgender people.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to shorten it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that was disrespectful.
No, it's all good. I just want to make sure that we're
transgender
using
friends,
them.
Which isn't, not a lot of people do.
So did you just tokenize your transgender friends for what? Just because I said like we don't want to just say trans?
No, I was just saying I didn't mean to be disrespectful. Like I'm not.
Bro, it wasn't that deep. I was just, holy smokes, slow down. It wasn't that deep. I was just like correcting you in the moment. Nobody was saying that you were being like transphobic or anything. I was just letting you know. Holy shit. Yeah.
Well, I was just trying to, a lot of people like to insinuate things in your comments. It's better to protect myself.
I don't think you just did that. The point that I'm trying to get across though, and I just want to like be very loud and clear about this, right? Is you sitting here saying that I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what you were saying. Facts.
I just was saying that I think it's political dogma to say that the suicide rate for or children are dying from these mass shootings when that's not what the statistic is showing.
No one said mass shootings. We said firearm violence.
Yeah, but that's what everybody goes to. That's what the news is showing. It's not talking about these suicides.
No, that's not true. That's the claim that I made was that the number one cause of fatalities for children between the ages of 1 and 18 are firearms.
Okay, but the main, cause of concern is the mental health. We need more.
Wait. No, that's absolutely not true. That's such a fucking cop out to say that it's mental health. That's not true. That's not proven.
You don't think
and that's
depression
that's literally a fucking cop out. Don't do that one. Facts. Go ahead.
I was going to say, talk about stigmatizing. So AJ, can you maybe answer a direct question? Do you dispute the fact that the number one cause of death for children between the ages of 1 and 18 are firearms?
No, I do not.
Okay, so then again, back to my point, we have an epidemic in our country. The most vulnerable amongst us are children. I'm a father of 3, right? There are families that send their kids to school every single day not knowing if they're going to come back. I'd like society to address that. And the conservatives, the pro-life crowd, are the ones that don't. Make that make sense.
I mean, I feel like I get what you're saying. They don't address it, but I feel like the banning of ARs is just such a completely radical way to do it.
Why? Because you like them?
No, I mean, I do like them, but I also think they're important to.
What's more important,
people.
what's more important, the AR or the life of a fourth grader?
I think there's a lot more violence.
How about answering that question? What's more important, your access to an AR or the life of a fourth grader?
The life of a fourth grader in that simple circumstance. But can I ask you a question?
But your party, your political views don't align with addressing that.
Can I ask you a question?
We're talking about. Sure.
What's more important, one person or 100 people?
What's more important, one person or 100? So you're going to go down the argument?
No, I'm just asking. That's just the question.
What's more important? One. If I could save 100 as opposed to one, I'd save 100.
Exactly. And,
so what's the point that you're making with that statement?
I'm saying that you can save a lot more lives with an AR from a break-in that happens way more often than a school.
How come it's never happened though?
What do you mean that's never happened?
How come
people
it doesn't
defend their homes with AR-15s all the time?
Really?
That's not true. Wait, that's literally not true. One, people who actually thank you for the spaceship. What up, Chewy? People who actually try to use firearms to defend their home more often harm people within their home with said firearm. And two, a more successful weapon to defend your home is a shotgun versus an AR. Like what you're saying is absolutely incorrect.
So you're telling me that statistics say more often than not, someone that uses their firearm in a home defense. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying having it for defense. Like you don't have to have used it for it to. Do
you have a
work
sign
in
on
a
your door that
defense
says you have an AR?
Situation.
You have a sign on your door?
You said what?
You have a sign on your door that says you have an AR?
Of course not. No.
Well, how the fuck would somebody know, bro?
I'm just saying, brandishing it or anything if somebody is in your house. I mean, I'm just saying I'd have to see that statistic that you're bringing up, Santana.
Why are you so scared?
I'm highly skeptical.
Why are you so scared?
And also, like, that's like an insane premise. Stop it. That's an insane premise that you're saying just brandishing it. So you think, holy smoke, that's an insane premise. I'll bring this up, answer facts question directly, but I want Sean to go next.
Yeah, again, bro, like, what are you so afraid of?
I live in a city that has a high crime rate. What are you talking about?
What city do you live in?
Cincinnati.
Cool. How old are you?
21.
How many times have your home been invaded?
0, but I've had my car broken into.
Okay, so your car, when you're sitting inside your house asleep and your car's broken into, what would your AR have done about that?
I wouldn't have done anything.
Exactly. So shut the fuck up with your bullshit argument.
That's just because you're not allowed to defend your property with lethal force.
What are you talking about, man?
You're not allowed to defend property with lethal force. You can defend your house with lethal force, but not just your property.
What are you talking about? This is wild. Where do you get your information from, man? Where do you get your information from?
That is completely a fact in Ohio, at least.
No, again, you can say that, but where do you get your information from?
With what I just said,
in general,
law.
In general, though, like, where do you get your information from? How did you form your views?
How do I form my views? I mean, watching people, reading.
Reading what?
Reading what?
Yeah.
I read a lot of legal stuff. I mean,
like what? Like what? I'm asking these questions for a reason. I'd like to know where you get your information, because there's so much that you've shared up here. Santana's being very patient.
I mean, specifically
that is completely just wild,
specifically about the 2A stuff. I watch these people active self-protection. They're very, they're legal. They practice as, what are they called? Like legal witnesses, like professional witnesses for, people that get into self-defense shootings. They actually did a story.
So you've not formed your opinion other than watching other people who align with your own views? That's called confirmation bias.
No, they are legal witnesses. That means they don't, hold a bias, actually.
Yeah.
Everybody has a bias, man.
Yeah.
Well, you can
hold on
look
one
into
second.
them.
Hold on one second.
They don't.
Hold on one
They try
second.
to be
Hold
bipartisan.
on one second, AJ. I'm gonna show you something, and then I'm gonna give the floor to Sean. So give me a second here. And put this over on the YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. All right. And then I'm going to come here. This is from the everytownresearch.org. It was a report that was compiled, taking a look at the data from the Federal National Crime Victimization Survey that was completed. In this report, Everytown for Gun Safety presents a more accurate and clear understanding of defensive gun use by analyzing the Federal National Crime Victimization Survey to determine the frequency of defensive use in firearms. We draw on decades of excellent work on this topic in research and science and legal scholars, and well as on research showing the individuals and societal impacts of firearms, the rates of injury and death from unintentional shootings, homicides, and suicides. We find that defensive gun use is exceedingly rare, often deployed against unarmed perpetrators, and often accompanied by unprecedented personal and social risks, including loss of life and property. They looked at this overall study, broke down, and again, you can go look at the National Crime Victimization Survey and determine that more often than not, sorry, I didn't even look over this other screen. More often than not, when people engage in, trying to use these weapons to defend their home, they end up harming people in their home more than harming the people that actually came into the home. Anyway, floor is yours, Sean.
Yeah, blow that up like to 125. We couldn't read words.
Oh, sorry.
Just want to say that first.
I mean, I believe you. I'll look into it, but I believe you.
There it is. I just want to know what the original point was supposed to be.
We were talking about a new constitution, and then he started going off on like the tangent as far as saying like, he would more likely, or he would be more prone to just continuing to add articles and amendments. And then he talked about like the fact that he wants to protect things like gun rights and all this other stuff. And I told him like having a new constitution where things are completely solidified versus leaving it up to interpretations and, the Supreme Court and stuff like that would be more valuable. And then he started to go off on a tangent about like how there's been substantial, things done with gun rights and blah, blah, blah. And we just kind of went down a rabbit hole.
Okay. Well, if anyone has a shotgun, number 4 buckshot for defending your home, by the way. But AJ.
Agreed.
Yeah. AJ, what is your actual contention with like a new constitution?
I mean, I just think we can do it already. Like we're trying to do, hate speech laws. They're trying to bring over the internet laws from the UK. It would be crazy. I don't know exactly what it was. It was like, I forget what the act was.
Let me ask this. Besides gun laws, because that was a rabbit hole, what is something worth preserving in the current constitution?
I think free speech. But
okay, free
speech, probably birthright citizenship. I agree with you guys on that.
You think we let's do one thing at a time. You think we have free speech?
I think for the most part, yeah. Compared to other places, yeah. I mean, I think it's very censored online, which I think is a bad thing. I think it should be less censored online.
Okay, when it comes to free, you know what free speech is, right? What it's determined to be?
Yeah, you can't make threats or anything.
Sure. But what I'm saying is just free speech itself. You know what that's determined to be. Congress should not create any laws that restrict a person's speech?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, I just because I'm against free speech. I just and I think you are too. So I just want to know that they're like when you talk about making laws, it's what you said before was we're doing things about laws against hate crimes. Like, do you think that?
Say again.
Do you think that we should do things about hate crimes?
No, I said against hate speech laws, I think.
Sure, but that would be hate speech would be a hate crime.
Well, wouldn't a hate crime involve like assaulting someone?
No, hate crime could be just about anything that involves like hatred on an inalienable trait.
I think, verbal harassment is a thing.
Okay, but that would fall into free speech.
I mean, you can harass someone, right? Without touching them.
Yeah, I'm saying that would. I'm saying you don't like verbal harassment, correct?
No, I don't like verbal harassment. That's why I think it should be, something. If somebody is yelling profanity at somebody in public, they should be arrested. Yeah.
Okay, well, that would fall under no free speech. So you would be. It sounds like you would be for.
It depends because disorderly people get arrested for disorderly all the time. People would say that's against free speech, I guess.
Sure. What I'm saying here is it's one of two things. It's essentially a trap, right? Either you think we have free speech and you don't think we should have free speech, so you think we should. You would advocate for a new constitution to like put the restrictions of speech in that constitution, or you think that the constitution says that we have free speech, but we actually don't have free speech.
I never said I was a constitutionalist. I don't have to.
I don't think you're a constitutionalist. I think that you just said that you don't want a new constitution.
I think we have the ability to do what we need to do within it. Like, I mean, they're already doing it. Like I pointed out with gun laws.
If we're doing a new constitution, wouldn't it make more sense to let me ask it, wouldn't it make more sense to do a new constitution where there is no confusion about what speech ought to be and ought not to be, rather than the interpretation of free speech and the Constitution saying we have free speech, but then speech is also restricted in some areas?
I think you could be able to do that. You can make that. You could vote on that now. Like that's like what these hate speech laws are, getting voted on, right?
Sure, but it still contradicts the free speech in the Constitution, so it becomes confusing, correct?
Yeah, that's why most people are against it.
Right. And so wouldn't it make more sense to just start over and make it very clear?
I mean, I guess, but I still think people would. That's just so radical. And nobody would be with that.
Radical?
That's the problem. You have to think as, not to be like a collectivist, but you got to think as a collective when you're running a country.
Sure, but I think that people want clear communication. Like if I tell you, don't go to the store. If I tell you, whatever happens today, do not go to the store. Like I don't care what happens. Do not go to the store. And then I call you at 4:00 and be like, listen, you're gonna laugh, but I need you to go to the store. You'd be mad confused, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I feel like I would, so like what, it's just confusing if you guys don't give me a stance of what you want the law to be other than you just want to change it.
I think this entire thing is confusing to you, and I'm not going to hold you. Like, I'm kind of getting to the end of the rope with this because it feels like you're
kind of low, Santana.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I turned this off because I was chewing, and so I didn't want to be all loud in the mic. I was saying you're kind of you're kind of losing me in the sense of like I'm kind of getting at the end of this actual point, because it feels like you're not necessarily understanding the overall premise, and like it feels like rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And so yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. I
we
think
kind of just
this
switched
is
the
almost
conversation.
I think this is kind of like, maybe coming towards an end, unless we can make some type of substantial like movement in this point.
No, it's cool. I mean, if you guys want to just stand on the radical point of, taking away the Constitution.
Okay, so how about this? Let's bring it all the way back for half a second. Let me say thank you to two people really quick, and I want you to think about this. I want you to give me an actual tangible point of how we can keep the current Constitution while making effective changes that would solidify all the rights for every person that's an American citizen, that would not cause the same things that we've been dealing with now, which is legal challenges and people having a lack of access to said rights. So think about that for 2 seconds. W's in the chat for Jenna. Jenna sent a $10 donation saying, ask AJ, if mental health is a problem, then why are almost no school shootings in most other countries? No mental health problems in other countries? ? That's absolutely true. Like that's a wild statement, and I couldn't agree more. W's in the chat for Hen. Hen sent a $25 donation saying, keep your foot on their neck. Love what you're doing. Thank you, Hen. W's in the chat for Hen. Guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and Linktree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. 1.7 thousand people hanging out here, guys. Make sure we're tapping the screen, share the live. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up to 300,000 likes. Also, guys, make sure that you're taking care of Sean. Make sure you're taking care of Facts. We got both of them up here. They're both absolutely amazing. Show both of them some love. Please, please, please hit that follow button. Show them some love and do all the wonderful things. AJ, the floor is yours. Give me one actual tangible point. Oh, sorry. W's in the chat for one mighty pin for the 100 bits. W's in the chat for the 100 bits over on Twitch. And then also Fallen Angel for the follow over on Twitch. Thank you so much. AJ, give me one coherent, reasonable way that we can make this effective change outside of what we've already been doing that would solidify rights for everyone.
I mean, I guess I just have to say I kind of agree, but I think about going about it a different way. So I probably would just concede, because I think we could repeal what you don't want, add what you can, because that's already kind of what we're doing.
Okay.
We had,
easier?
a ban of alcohol and then we took it away. It's that easy, guys.
Sure, but how many, let me ask this, how many articles are in the Constitution?
27.
Okay. And how many subsects to those articles are there?
A bunch.
Yeah, just give me a rough number about the totality of it. Is it
I don't know off the
500?
hand. I do not know. Probably not. I don't know.
Probably.
There's a lot. I mean, I know with I mean maybe more.
It's a lot. It's fine. Right. It's a lot. It's fine. It's a lot. Would it be easier? Let's say that it's 200, right? Let's say that there's 200 things in total within the Constitution. Is it easier to change 200 things or to just start over?
I mean, I guess it's just a lot of things are going to be the same. I mean, I guess it could be easier. I get what you're saying. It's just a radical thing that I think a lot of people wouldn't. You would have to propagandize the movement, I guess. I get you. It's just I don't think we would agree on a lot of how we would, because we would have to do all these other things that you guys want before we did that. We would have to get the women in power, right? We would have to do all those other things before we could even get the people in power that could write the Constitution to write a good one for you guys. You know what I mean?
I mean, sure, but I just wanted to know. I think it would just be easier to just start over. Like if there was 200 things that I had to redo, I'd be like, bro, throw it away. We're just going to start over.
But you don't think it'd be easier to vote now before, you know, you have to change the whole system of the government before you do all these things?
Yeah. No, I think it's easier to just throw it away and start over.
Exactly. And
even
the point
with the
that,
white men in power?
Literally the point that I've been making over and over and over is we've already done this. Like you still haven't given me anything that would say that like we haven't already done exactly what you're saying, and we are where we are after you doing exactly what you've already said. Facts. You about to say something?
I was gonna say, so AJ, is your concern? I want to boil this right down. Is your concern about a new constitution? Are you afraid that you're gonna lose your 2A right?
That is not my only concern. No.
I knew it. That's a big part of it, though, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't say that's the biggest part. I feel like
I didn't say the biggest. I said a big part.
Sure. Yes, I feel like it's important to individuals.
Made my point.
I was a libertarian. I mean, I'm very individualist. I was. But I just think it'd be a lot harder to start the system over. I mean, if you want to do a new constitution and keep the white men in power, then that's your choice. But
keep the white man in
I feel
power.
like it's just going to be, that's kind of insane too. Might as well just vote on this shit like we're doing now.
I hear you.
If we vote on it, the white men will stay in power.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just saying
If
it's
you
gonna,
write a new
you're gonna have to do
constitution.
something more radical to get them out of power than you guys put on.
Okay.
I mean, sure, absolutely, but we're just talking about a new constitution at this point. Like we could talk about like an armed revolution, but I don't think that you'd be able to really hold your own in that particular conversation.
I mean, exactly. This is why I feel like a lot of you streamers.
We do not care. Yeah, I was over that. Really quick, Sean, thank you for coming up. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Oh, I gotta tell you a story one day. I gotta tell you a story about I watched your VOD. I'll start with this. I watched your VOD.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was funnier than
what did I tell you?
Let on. You left out a bunch of stuff.
It was a lot that happened. It was so much that happened. It was wild.
It was so funny. It was so funny. And I was like, Santana didn't tell me about this.
Oh my gosh, it was
so
wild.
funny.
Yeah.
But I got a live I gotta tell you about one day. So get ready for that.
Okay. All right.
But I appreciate you having me up as usual. Thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Thank you. W's in the chat for Sean, guys. W's in the chat for Sean. Facts. I know that you originally came up and we got 1.7 thousand people here. Talk to the people really quick because you got something important that we need to make sure that they hear. Also, guys, I know there's people in the request. Hold tight for a second. I'm going to get you in here. Or if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background, get in the box. If you're over on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, click that link in the pinned message that says debate me. You don't even have to leave where you are. All you have to do is click the link. You don't have to leave your safe space. You can just come up and debate me from your safe space. Anyway, Facts, floor is yours.
Thank you, brother. First of all, thank you for the great work, and I appreciate you giving me a chance to talk about this. So I've been a big advocate for a long time about activism in general. I believe that there's always something that we can all do for our neighbor, to help a friend in need, whatever that might be. I thank my mother for that. I've been involved in activism my whole life. I've decided to turn that into a voter activism push that I'm calling the Do Something Tour. So starting with the No Kings Rally in New York at the end of March, and then progressing at various events over the course of the summer, and then really kicking off in earnest this fall. I'll be going on the road for 2 months across the country, talking to voters, more importantly, listening to voters. Because I really believe, well, estimates are around 90 million people that did not participate in the 2024 presidential election. I think 45 million of those are people that are the two wings of the same bird, two sides of the same coin. I think they're lazy voters. But I think there are 45 million people that just don't feel like government's ever worked for them. They're hardworking Americans. They can be in all demographics, all socioeconomic conditions, in large metropolitan areas and rural communities, who just don't feel like they have a voice. They want to put food on their table. They want their kids to go to college. They're sick and tired of paying the exorbitant cost of healthcare. They're tired of corporations taking advantage of them. I want to talk to those people. So I'm in the process of trying to raise money for the Do Something Tour. Again, it kicks off in September in earnest. If you'd like to support what we're doing, you can go to the links that are in the link tree in my bio. You can follow us along on Instagram. There's the IG Instagram page, the Do Something Tour. More promotions coming out over the next few weeks. There'll be a big video drop tomorrow that kind of summarizes. I wrote a speech about it. I've got a whole bunch of shit planned. Just trying to get the word out there to talk to as many people as possible. So the goal is to listen. I'm going to be as agnostic as I can when I talk to people. I just want people to participate. It's embarrassing that 90 million people didn't vote.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I think it's super necessary, and especially like now. And I think even more so, like the things that are happening in our country, the fact that this administration is super unpopular to all sides now, right? People who are Republican, Democrat, and Independent, like overwhelmingly are pushing back on the idea of this war with Iran. Gas prices are spiking. The cost of living is unaffordable. There's so many people who are just saying like something has to shift. And this is an opportunity to talk to those people and ensure that we are actually trying to affect a real change prior to the midterms and the 2028 presidential election. So I think it's absolutely necessary.
Thank you, brother. And again, I'm asking people to focus on harm reduction. I think one of the biggest complaints of the left is we get enamored with our candidates. The right falls in line, the left falls in love. Mm-hmm. And if we don't get the candidate of our choice, we tend to check out, which we saw in 2024. So if you're faced with a decision between a boring Democrat and a person in the Republican Party, I would like to ask folks to vote for the boring Democrat, because I want to move society forward. I'm a progressive. I look at the Democratic Party as public transportation. It's going to get me closer to where I want to go. I'm willing to walk the rest of the way. So that's my push.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, I appreciate you.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you. I know we've been talking about this for a while. I really love you as a creator. You're a fabulous human being, and it's an honor to share your space, bro. I appreciate you.
Likewise, you know how I feel about you, Fax, and I appreciate you, and anything that I could ever do for you, I'm here for you. So thank you.
Back at you, brother. Thanks a lot.
All
See you later.
Have a good one. W's in the chat for facts, guys. W's in the chat for facts. All right. Only requests up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. Only requests up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
Yeah, I disagree with something.
Okay. Can you give me 2 seconds? Let me thank just a few people and then we can get into it. Okay.
Very good.
Perfect. Thank you. W's in the chat for Hebrew Wallace, who sent a $6 euro to say, first to change, no external campaign funding, all equal state funding budgets for all parties. The one that does the best proves that they can keep a budget. I agree with that. Like, that's a base thought. W's in the chat for Caroline. Hey, Caroline, who sent a $5 donation saying clears throat. See freedom of speech in Germany. Definitely too government/European for the only specific line of this conversation. Also, see Article 1 of that mentioned Constitution. I agree. Look at those. W's in the chat for Jesse, cousin Jesse, who sent a $2 donation saying, cousin Santana, what's good, bro? What's happening? Quick question. Why is AJ babbling about babbling and struggling to make a coherent point? He's all over the place. He can't provide clear and cohesive context to his points. He's ill-equipped for the conversation. He came back for more smoke. And, you know, that's kind of what happens when they come back for a double dose. W's in the chat, guys. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. 1.6 thousand people hanging out here on TikTok. Make sure you hit that follow button. We only got 71 new followers on this live. I would love to make sure that we get over 100 new followers for this stream. Please, please, please hit that follow button. We're on our way to 100,000 followers. We're at 96,000. So please, if you look up here and you see the word follow, you're not following me, hit that follow button. Follow me over on YouTube. We just crossed 19,000 subscribers over on YouTube. So follow me there. Follow me on Twitch. We just hit 1,017 over on Twitch. And Blue Sky. We've been at 1,400 on Blue Sky forever. So if you're on Blue Sky and you're not following me, follow me on Blue Sky. Santana speaks for you. All right, floor is yours. What point on the background do you disagree with the most that you want to start with? Thank you, Jazz.
Well, first of all, it's not really that I disagree with every point you got on there. I actually like you, Santana. I like every point that you make. But the remove men leaders, I feel like some men would disagree with that, and I wanted to point that out about which like people they would disagree with. So we all know about the general who got his arm snapped in the hearing that he was not abusing, he was using his First Amendment right. And he got his arm snapped because of it. And even though he got his arm snapped, he was still using his First Amendment right. I feel like some men would argue that men like that should stay in leadership. And I would agree with that. Oh,
got a call. W's in the chat for Kimberly, who sent a $1.99 super chat. Say, please mention the false flag attacks. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that for sure. W's in the chat for Kimberly. Thank you. You're back. All right. Sorry. You must have got a call or something.
It's just I usually like, I feel like when debates is happening between men leaders being removed from leadership, it often starts with societal patriarchy often normalizes misogyny and sexual
objectification.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I wanted to bring that up because that's when most, not even women, but most men, when arguing, debating men, they bring that up. All right, okay. And I feel like not all men, include me. I respect women. I actually think women are the most emotional and physical being. So I respect women and all their beliefs. So I feel like most men would disagree with remove all men from leadership. And like you said, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, but like you said, about the 32 years of sitting out and letting women take over, I agree with that too. But I also feel like some men would disagree with it. So I just wanted to ask you a question about that.
So I guess help me understand, what's the question?
Like the general being removed. So the general that got his arm snapped.
Wait, so is the question is like, should we make exception for some men or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically my question. Okay.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay.
No, the reason why I say no though is like, do you think that we've had men like set general in positions of power throughout the 250-year history of our country?
No.
You don't think that we've had any men like him in positions of power?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was not actually listening to the whole thing. Yes, I actually agree with that. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So if we've already had men like him in power throughout the history of our country and we're still where we are today, why make an exception?
Because more men might come to light like that, right?
But again, like I don't think that he's an anomaly. Like he's not Neo. Okay. He's not the one. I mean, like the premise that men are there. Of course, I'm not saying that all men are bad. I'm not saying all men are immoral or don't have leadership qualities. I think that yes, there are men with some leadership qualities. Yes, there are some men that I would absolutely support as being leaders. But I think it's more prudent to actually take this course versus what we've been doing throughout the history of our country, right? And I think understanding like the cataclysmic direction that we're heading in versus trying to save the country. I've said this with the Constitution. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. And with continuing to keep men in power, it's the same thing that we've already done. Even if you say, oh, more black men or more Asian men or whatever, like they're still men, right? And the overwhelming power has been coalesced through for men throughout the history of our country.
Okay. So then my next question is, how would you feel, like I said, I agree with the 32-year wait and letting women take over. How would you think that general would feel if you offered that same solution to him? Would he agree?
I don't know if he would agree or disagree, but I think I hope he would have the emotional intelligence to understand, especially if you're talking about a member of like our armed forces, someone who is trying to stand up on the right side of history, understanding the logical explanation behind it, and understand that it's not based off of like, oh, you know, I'm part of the He-Man hating club or whatever. It's based off of like literally the actual facts and data that are laid out as far as where our country has been, where our country is heading, and how there is a necessary change in order to stop us from losing our country.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I actually do not care if the general would care or not to remove himself from power or to remove all men like him from power. I just wanted to come up here because my friend actually disagrees with everything you say, and he's in here right now, so I wanted him to hear what you
Tell
had
him
to
to
say.
get up here and talk to me. Why won't he talk to me?
He won't do it. He won't do it. That's why I came up here for him. And
tell him I'm a nice guy. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna call him like a name. I would never call someone a name like Slapnuts or a donut or something. So tell him to come up here and talk to me.
All right. And I'm not really that educated in all these politics stuff. So I wanted somebody else that was more educated than me to lay him out, basically.
Yeah, the entire premise is like, what's your friend's name?
Robert.
Robert, and he can hear me right now, right?
Yeah, he can hear you.
Robert, I'm not sitting here saying that like I want to remove power from men forever. And I also understand that like as a man, I'm advocating to marginalize myself. The overall point that I'm making is that like the amount of harm that's been perpetuated throughout the history of our country, 250 years, 90% of power has been coalesced within our government by men, specifically white men, over the 250-year history of our country. And even if you look at the split today, 78% of Congress is made up of men. And no matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, like the actual issues that we have today, where we are in our country today, falls squarely on the shoulders of men. And understanding that most nations only last 250 years, understand that the United States of America is currently on track to do what the last 5 superpowers has done to cause that superpower to collapse. The only way to save our nation and to continue to thrive and move forward is by having some dramatic shift in what we've been doing. We've had a history throughout our country where it was only white men that own land that had power. Then it was all white men that had power. And then it was all men that had power. And then finally this quote unquote system where now everyone can share in power. And there has to be some type of dramatic shift. And I'm willing to accept anything else as far as a solution, but no one has been able to give me any type of substantial solution that would make a major shift like this would.
And like you said earlier, I was here for it. The 250 years that, you know, you said countries that have been around for 250 years,
nations
fall.
Nations.
Sorry. Nations that have been around for 250 years usually fall. And I actually agreed with that point, and we were arguing about it because he said, why haven't we fallen yet, if that was the case? And I'm like, it's coming.
And this year is literally the 250 year. Like, I mean, and that's an average. I'm not saying like that's the drop dead date. I'm just saying that's the average. But the whole point that's being made is like understanding historical data, trends, and trajectories, like forecasting. All of these things are major factors. And if you take a look at where we are today as a whole, like the value of the dollar is collapsing.
Sorry to cut you off, but I actually have to get off here. I go to work.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay here and listen.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Yep. Have a good one. Thank you. Joshua, I just muted you in the chat. Get up here, you coward. You said no one cares. I sent you a request. Get up here, you coward. W's in the chat for Kelly. Kelly sent a $10 donation saying, mentally beating these Trumpers to a pulp. Call it orange juice for the orange man. Love you, Santana. I love you too. W's in the chat for Jessica for the $5 donation saying, listening to Dean yesterday with the guest talking about how, the deep V. I appreciate the way you immediately stood up for women. It means the world. Listen, no one, like seriously, and I'm going to say this to you, Jessica, but I'm also going to say this to anyone else that's a part of any community that I'm not a part of. And hell, even like the communities that I'm a part of, because like, you know, I'm a black man in America, but you guys never have to thank me for like standing up and using my voice and like advocating for other marginalized communities. I understand the solidarity that's needed between marginalized communities. And even more so, I don't take my voice or my privilege for granted. And the point of having privilege is to use your privilege to shield the people who are more marginalized than you. Thank you for the galaxy. Like, that's the entire point of having privilege, being able to use that privilege to protect the people who don't have the privilege. So that's the entire point of what I try to make sure that I do. Plus, like I said multiple times yesterday, I have to always try to make sure that I'm being a good steward of the things that you all give me. And right, the fact that you guys give me a platform to be able to speak, the fact that you guys donate and support the live that allows me to do this every single day. Like, I have to be a good steward of all of these things. And I just look at this as a part of me being a good steward of all of the things that you guys give me. Hi, user. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
Watch me.
Okay, I don't think that's... Yeah, so like, I don't take any of this for granted. Like, I understand, like, there's, you know, 1.5 thousand people hanging out, 1.6 thousand people hanging out here now. Over on YouTube, we got what? Almost another 500. Like, we got what, over 2,000 people watching right now. I don't take this for granted. Like, this isn't normal. Like, I understand that I'm in a position of privilege, and I am grateful, and I'll always use my privilege for protection. Hi, Ricky. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background? Ricky, are you a Trump supporter? No? Okay, I'm gonna drop you down. Check your heart with the #1 doctor. So I understand, like, you guys made me. You guys gave me this. And I'm gonna keep doing this as long as you guys stay here with me. And I'm going to keep fighting as long as you allow me to fight, but I have to make sure I'm doing it the right way. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
Not a Trump supporter, but I do wonder if the removing men as any kind of leaders might be more digestible to some of the men who are struggling with it. If we maybe clarified it a little bit to, I mean, personally, I don't like protecting men's feelings. But
oh, I don't either.
If it was specifically for, if there is an issue that specifically affects a particular group, let's say women in general, if women are the only ones who are allowed to make a decision on that issue, like, is that a happy compromise, or am I being too wishful there?
Yeah, no, I think that it would be harmful if we did that. And give me 1 second. What up, Brett Raid? What up, Brett? W's in the chat for Brett Raid. W's in the chat for Brett. What up, bro? I think it would be harmful, right? And the reason why I say it would be harmful is because men, we don't have the right to comfort. Like, people who have privilege and actually like giving up said privilege has to understand that they don't have the right to comfort. And saying that we need to make things more palatable or more acceptable, or, you know, be more toneful and mindful in order for them to get the message, and we got to be sweet for them to get it. No, absolutely not. And the one thing that I will say as well, though, while there's many men that actually do push back on this because it immediately solicits an emotional response because they feel targeted. The one thing that I've learned throughout like debating and engaging with people who have an opposite position of me, especially people who tend to be more right leaning, is like the one, and I hate to say it like this because this all plays into toxic masculinity, but this is the truth. They're more willing to engage with a point that challenges them with strength versus a leading with kindness, right? And I understand like the ability to be able to actually, you know, lead with kindness and address like emotional intelligence. But one thing that I pride myself on is being able to talk to different people on different level and understanding like the level that they speak on and the language that they speak I think that if we want to get things like this across to the people who have a different opinion than us, we have to do it the way that they're going to understand it. And we got to bring it straight to their doorstep and bring the smoke straight up the chimney.
Okay. I definitely agree. I saw someone mention this in the comments and I feel I've fallen for it. I do feel like we are taught to kind of try and soften things so that it will be more acceptable. How do you feel like anything like that actually removing what is at the moment the most influential group? How do we do that? Because I am totally the raging feminist, don't want the men to be making our decisions and everything, but it's not. How do we do that when everything is so like incrementalized where, you know, we can only make one tiny little change at a time and then it doesn't really go anywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. The way that we do it is one, all for animals. It's not you. It's not on you. It's on me. It's on people like Brett Cross. It's on people like Facts Still Matter. It's on people like Parker Get a Job, Dean Withers, Zeus. It's on people like, you know, who else am I thinking or missing? Like it's on not just men creators, but it's on like our fathers, our uncles, our brothers, our men cousins. It's on men. The way that you get this done is by galvanizing men to champion Johnny, Adam, Joey. Absolutely. It's on the men who benefit from this privilege, RJT, absolutely, to actually guide and be the ones that champion this, because the only way that the effective change is going to happen is if the people who are currently benefited from the status quo stands up and pushes back on it. So no matter how much you may want it, if other men don't join you and me in this, then there's no way it'll change. So we have to galvanize those people that benefit from the privilege first. And then once we galvanize those people that benefit from the privilege, then we can start to actually have enough people pushing back on it to affect a change.
Thank you very much for your perspective. I really enjoy watching all of your guys' lives. I watch Hector, I watch Erica, I watch Johnny, I watch all of you guys. And my biggest concern is always, in my perfect world, I would absolutely love if everything that you have behind you was able to be done. It would be beautiful. I feel like the world would be so successful. I am always stuck on how on earth are we supposed to get the people who are currently benefiting from the system to give up that death grip that they have on it.
Yeah. One thing that I talk about all the time, because people want to come up and they want to move like past these points and start talking about like the next steps after that. The reason why I engage in these debates and I lay these points out is because, like, one, I want to challenge it in a public space. Two, I want to shift the school of thought and get people to this point. And once we actually get to this point, then we can actually start working on the thing. But if we can't get people to the point of agreeing to these things first, then there's no way we can make these things happen. So I'm always trying to drive people to get to this point, and then we can figure out the rest of it after we get people on board with the point.
Beautiful. I'll hop down here. I don't want to waste your time, but I just wanted to ask that question, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Guys, only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're over on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and you would like to actually come up and debate me, you can click that link. I'm going to drop the link again in the chat so you guys can have it. But you guys don't even have to leave the space that you're currently in. All you have to do is click that link. And if you click that link, then you can actually get up here. Also, if you'd like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio, just like Hope. Hope's in a $5 donation said, I started watching you from Dean. You're such an amazing Santana. Also, may I send you and others graduation invite? Not for you to come, but just for it. Yeah. Hope. I will send you my P.O. box. I'll reply to this message and I'll send you my P.O. box information. Yeah, send it to me. Absolutely. W's in the chat for Hope. If you'd like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Let's see here. Hi, Rika. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background? Hi, Rika. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background? Guys, I don't think Rika meant to come up here. I don't think Rika meant to come up. I don't think Rika meant to come up. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart. Me, it's only one coin. Make sure you hit that follow button, guys. We're up to 80 new followers on the stream. We're trying to get up to 100,000 followers. And if you are seeing this and you look up here, there. If you look right there and you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. Hit that follow button. Hit that follow button. We are trying to get to 100,000 followers, and we're over 90. We're at 96,000. Somebody just unfollowed me and then refollow. God damn! Don't unfollow then refollow. What the fuck just happened? We're at 82 followers on the current stream. So please, if you have not followed, hit that follow button. Over on YouTube, we just crossed 19,000 followers, and now we're trying to get up to 20,000 followers, which is huge. And over on Twitch, we're at 1,018. We're trying to get up to 2,000. So make sure that you guys are hitting that follow button. Hope, I just sent you, if you check your donation, Hope, I just sent you a, the focus on the camera is crazy good. Yeah, it for some reason, it keeps moving. I don't know what's happening, but yeah. I just sent you my P.O. box to your donation. If you check it, you'll see it. W's in the chat for Hope. Guys, as we are waiting for people to show up for a debate and get in the box, because, you know, come catch this fade. There's something that I wanted you guys to know about. This is super important, right? So first and foremost, guys, did everyone hear about what happened as far as Iran with California? Did everyone hear about the report from the FBI yesterday? Did anybody miss the information as far as what's happening with Iran and California? Okay, so I'll talk about that for a second. Reports started to break yesterday around, I want to say like 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific, that Iran, that the FBI has information stating that Iran is planning some drone strikes within California. And more so specifically saying that the entire West Coast needs to be on alert, but Iran is threatening California. And so California officials have been placed on high alert, and they're looking for a possible attack from Iran. Now, a couple of other things have happened with this actual, you know, the entire premise as far as like what's happening. And if you guys aren't up to date with this, buckle up. I promise you, I'm going to start by saying this before I start talking about this, because I'm always kind of worried about how much information I share with you guys. Like, I'm so serious when I say this. Like, when I make videos or when I talk about certain things, I'm always so worried about how much I tell you, because I don't want to ever be, I don't want it to ever come off like fear mongering. Right? So, I tend to go down rabbit holes and like consume as much information as possible. And I don't think that's healthy, even though I do it. So I try to make sure that I'm really cautious with information that I share with you guys. So let's take a step back, and I'll run through and make sure everyone is up to date as far as what's happening. First things first, we got to cover the cost of the first week of war with Iran. So the Pentagon put out, had to meet Congress and put out the first week of cost for war with Iran costs $11.3 billion. $11.3 billion in 1 week. Now, that's on top of all the other economic impacts that have occurred, including, as of 2 hours ago, the price of oil per barrel has now hit $120 per barrel. But just in 1 week of conflicts with Iran, we've already spent $11.3 billion. That's in 1 week, right? Now, also, a couple of other things have happened. I mentioned that the FBI reached out to California and told them that there were a possibility of drone strikes. California's been placed on high alert, and like the different areas are prepared and working through any possible domestic terrorist attacks, right? So, understanding the possibility of a conflict on our soil and our country, Donald Trump, when asked about the possibility of there being conflict and the fact that Iran could strike in our country, this is what he said.
They try to hit us back. Have you been briefed about how many Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now?
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
Is it dozens?
They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before. It's pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah. So Trump is saying that as far as the sleeper cells that are in the United States, Donald Trump is saying that he knows, we know where all those sleeper cells are, right? And not only do we know where all those sleeper cells are, that we have our eyes on it. And my question would be, if we know where the sleeper cells are, then why haven't we taken care of the sleeper cells? Why, instead of deflecting and saying they came in under Biden, why aren't we making efforts to take out the sleeper cells? So that's an important point. Now, something else that's super important to bring up is what's also currently happening back and forth with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. Can you explain what a sleeper cell is? Absolutely. Sleeper cells are people that are basically like soldiers, spies, or whatever, and they go into other countries and they integrate themselves into the other countries, into societies. They seem like just normal people until they get the order to engage in some type of conflict. So it's set up where it's like people on the inside waiting for the order to actually strike. Think of it as like the Trojan horse, and how, you know, there were like, they had the horse outside of the gates and there were soldiers inside, but they had no idea. They brought the horse inside because they thought it was a gift. And then the soldiers popped out and they were inside the walls, right? That's what sleeper cells are. Now, talking about what happened with the what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz, the reason why this has been such a contentious point is because 20% of all global oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran has been controlling the Strait of Hormuz, only allowing China to pass ships through, placing mines in the water, and also striking ships, sinking ships that are trying to pass through. And now this is after, you know, Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth said that we obliterated Iran's navy, but for some reason they're still able to actually destroy ships, right? the interesting, not interesting, but the point that we're at now is the supreme leader, and this just happened. Holy smokes, hold on. Oh, there was another update 12 minutes ago. Holy smokes. So this is the issue. So we know Iran has a new supreme leader, right? And shut up, popcorn. Iran has a new supreme leader, and the supreme leader has issued a defiant statement as global supplies disruption grows. I'm not even going to try to say his new name. Avowed that his country would keep blocking the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil route, and avenge the blood of the martyrs. Iranian state media says Israel also pounded central Bertrate. I don't know. I know I'm messing that up. Expanding his attacks against Hezbollah. So the point that I'm making with this is that the new supreme leader of Iran is vowing that they're going to stop ships from being able to come through there. Popcorn, you can fuck off. Like, seriously. You know what, popcorn? Like, you serve no purpose. You're stupid. you can't actually debate, and you run around and say the same weird shit. So with that being said, you can just take a block. Like, there's no purpose of you being here. Anyway, the point that's being made is they're making the decision to actually stop any any ships that are coming through there, and they're standing on this, saying that we will not stop. They're standing on the fact that we will not stop. They don't plan on stop. Like, this is not a temporary thing. The other key point to we all know that, like, slowing or reducing the amount of oil is going to make gas prices skyrocket. Like, yes, those things are true. But lock in for a second. It's not just the gas prices that are going to be affected. We understand that gas prices affect everything. Yes, that's absolutely true. But one other key factor, as far as something that comes through the Strait of Hormuz through a massive amount, is the supplies that we put in soil and fertilizer in order to grow food. So there's going to be less of the supplies that's needed to grow food. So food prices are going up as well. It's not just oil. It's not just gas and those things that are directly connected by gas, but also food prices are going to skyrocket. Now, I need you guys to hear this, because Donald Trump actually said this. Let me make sure this is the right one. Sorry, guys. I think this is the right one. 1 second here.
They're doing everything possible.
Nope, that's not the right one. Sorry. Okay, so it's this one. This is what he said. This is him trying to pump the prime, or prime the pump.
%. Under our policies, prices for chicken, eggs, cheese, butter, potatoes, and fresh fruit are lower today by a lot than when I took office. Hotel rates, automobile prices, and rent payments are way down as well. As a result of my direction to purchase $200 billion in mortgage bonds, a risky move perhaps, but not for me. Mortgage rates are now the lowest in more than 5 years, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000.
So Donald Trump is trying to perpetuate the idea that he is causing prices to go down, when we know, looking at CPI reports, prices are up. And even with prices being up, the conflict that he currently has us engaged in, prices are going to go up higher. He's trying to portray the premise as if he is driving prices down while at the same time effectively doing things that will skyrocket prices. Don't let him lie to you. Don't let him lie to you. Now, one other thing that I want to make sure that I cover that's connected, and this just happened while we were live. This is from a Bloomberg report, but Donald Trump is set to ease the shipping rules in bid to tame spiraling fuel prices. The Trump administration plans on waiving the century-old maritime law that requires American ships to be used to transport goods between U.S. ports as it seeks to blunt surging oil and gas prices, according to people familiar with the matter. The 30-day exemption, which is still being developed, is set to apply broadly to vessels moving oil, gasoline, diesel, and natural gas and fertilizer among U.S. ports and people. This would enable generally cheaper foreign tankers to move goods, including Gulf Coast oil to refineries and the East Coast, and fuel from the region to more populated areas. So Donald Trump is trying to put a temporary exemption on the Jones Act, which actually reduces the amount of transportation through like waterways across the in and around the United States when it comes to like transporting those specific items. Now, the interesting part about this is we have seen how much gas prices have ballooned. This isn't something that's going to actually be overall like a huge deterrent. This comes from the same article, specifically with speaking to the people who have broken down the impacts of this. And so this says, waiving the Jones Act could help lower prices somewhat. The impacts are about the impacts are set to be limited, said Colin Gabral, I think that's pronounced, Associate Director of the Cato Institute, Herbert A. Stadfeld Center of Trade Policy Studies, which advocates for repealing the law. The Jones Act is probably responsible for a few cents per gallon, pennies per gallon, not dimes per gallon. And then he went on to say, it could be helpful, but the effects could get swamped by the broader movement in the market. So while Donald Trump is trying to do something to help offset the high gas prices that we're getting ready, that we've already seen, and the higher gas prices that we're going to see, this isn't going to be enough to pull back on the impacts that we're seeing. So I just want people to know, like, yes, Donald Trump is trying to do something, but something that he could have done was not fucking bomb Iran on behalf of Israel. He could have just not did that. Like literally, Joe Biden, they wanted Joe Biden to do the same thing, and Joe Biden said no. Now, you guys want to know why? Or I don't know if this is correlation, causation, or the actual reason, but there's a pretty interesting thing that has happened since Donald Trump has engaged in this war with Israel. Does anybody want to know what that interesting thing is? Does anybody want to know what that interesting thing, that interesting factor, that interesting thing that has happened ever since the start of the war? Not the raising gas prices, not the terror threats, not the fact that we are now in a situation where other countries are nuclearizing. I'm going to tell you, but before I do, I got to say thank yous. Sorry, chat. You guys got to hold tight for a moment. I'll tell you, but I got to say thank you to a couple of people. You guys got to hold on. Just hold tight for a second. Just hold tight. I'll tell you. W's in the chat for Andrew. Andrew sent a $40 donation. Holy shit. W's in chat for Andrew, guys. Andrew sent a $40 donation, and we generally agree on everything. I'm not really sure about the background being overcorrections or empirical pipe dreams. But I very much appreciate what you do and the work that you do to move the needle. Yeah, like Andrew, first and foremost, thank you for the $40 donation. That is a crazy amount of money. I appreciate you to the moon and back. I think the biggest thing is like having these conversations in the open and starting to normalize these ideas. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to do is normalizing these things, because if we can normalize these things, people will be more willing to actually be receptive to these things. Because if these are now new things that people have never heard, they're going to immediately push back on them. But if we can talk about this more, if we can drive these home, then it gives a better chance for us to actually get to these things versus like not talking about them. So there's that. Yep, shifting the Overton window. You are absolutely correct. W's in the chat for cousin Jesse for the $2 donation. WTF is Trump talking about? He and MAGA can never tell us any policies that Joe Biden passed that led to open borders. That's because there are none. Absolutely. Absolutely correct. W's in chat for cousin Jesse. W's in chat for Caroline, who sent a $5 donation. Apparently Turkey caught 2-2 in time. Yeah, I will. I'll check on that, Caroline. Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely check on that. W's in the chat for Caroline. Thank you so much for that donation. W's in the chat for Sin. Hey, Sin, who sent a $4.99 super chat to say, casually asking my MAGA mom if she enjoying the lower grocery prices Trump promised. Exactly. Throw all the shade, guys. Throw all the fucking shade. Throw every ounce of shade to all the Trump supporters that tried to gaslight us with this shit. Throw all the shade. W's in the chat for all the donors, guys. If you'd like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat, and I will read that out. All right, guys. So I was saying one interesting thing that has happened since this actual conflict with Iran has started, people have stopped looking up information about the Epstein files. Ever since the actual start of the war with Iran, Google searches for information surrounding the Epstein files has decreased by 95%. By 95%. So whether this was intentionally done by the Trump administration or it was a byproduct, this is something that they wanted. They wanted people to stop talking about the Epstein files. A 95% decrease in Google searches is massive. But maybe I could do my part to stem the intellectual curiosity of at least the 1.6 thousand people here right now, or almost 2,000 combined people. Maybe I could offer something for you guys that would make you want to go do your Googles. How about that? Would anybody like to know something that just recently came out that I'm sure that you guys probably didn't hear about the Epstein files? Is anyone interested in something that I'm pretty sure that you guys did not hear about yet when it comes to the Epstein files? This came from Reuters yesterday. Exclusive. Foreign hacker in 2023 compromised Epstein files held by the FBI, sources and documents show. A foreign hacker compromised the files related to the FBI investigation of the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein during the break-in of the bureau in New York federal office 3 years ago, according to sources familiar with the matter and recently published Justice Department documents reviewed by Reuters. The details of who accused the server at the FBI office in the FBI New York field office includes the allegation that the foreign hacker was involved are being reported here for the first time. In a statement, the FBI said that what was described as a cyber incident was an isolated one. The FBI restricted access to the malice actor and refortified the network. The investigation remains ongoing, so we do not have any further comments to provide at this time. Although sources said the intrusion appeared to have been carried out by a cyber criminal rather than a foreign government, the incident underscores the file's potential intelligence value. One academia says the legal mandate publication of the U.S. Justice Department documentation has exposed the dead financiers' ties to prominent people in politics, finance, academia, and business, triggering investigations in numerous countries worldwide. Let me read this last quote, and then we're going to talk about this. Who wouldn't be going after the Epstein files if you're Russian or somebody interested in Comprot? I don't know what that is. Said John Lindsay, who's a research the role engineer technology and the global security at the Georgia Institute of Technology. If the Foreign Intelligence Agency are not thinking seriously about the Epstein files as a target, then I would be shocked. So the point being is that the Epstein files, as constructed, as held before released, they were compromised. So that means either someone changed something, someone took something, someone deleted something, or someone wanted to know what all they knew. I'm willing to believe that somehow these files were altered before they were released. And this is from 3 years ago. This didn't just happen. Comprompt. Yep. Compromise. Yep. Yep. Compromised material. So the point being, the files that they released, the ones that they have released, how much of that is accurate? How much of that is accurate information? How much of that is information that should have been released? How much of that is information that was changed to protect the ultra wealthy, the ultra powerful? And that's where we are. That's where we are. W's in the chat for Angie. Angie sent a $10 donation saying, good morning, Santana. I'm late this morning, but sending love, justice for the survivors. Absolutely, Angie. Thank you so much for the 10. W's in the chat for Clay. Clay sent a $10 donation saying, never stop talking about Epstein. Absolutely, Clay. Massive fucking W's in the chat for Clay for that one. Couldn't say it any better. W's in the chat for Clay. Guys, if anyone would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links, and Linktree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat, and I will read that out. Also, guys, still 1.6 thousand of us hanging out. Look up at the top. If you see the word follow, you're not following me. We're trying to get to 100,000 followers, and we're at 96,000, and we only got 91 new followers on the stream. If you're watching right now and you've never seen me, I do more than debates here. I do panel conversations, I do interviews, I do content, I do a lot of stuff. So please, 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 if you like, anything that I do here, make sure you hit that follow button. If you think I got a stupid face, a punchable stupid face, then hit that follow button and rage to it or whatever. But hit that follow button, turn on notifications. I would love to get at least 100 new followers on this current stream, and we're driving towards 100,000 followers. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about that. Also, something else that I really, really, really wanted to make sure that I talk to you guys about. really wanted to talk to you guys about one last thing. And this kind of goes along with the fact that I think that we need to remove men leader. I think you need, yeah, sure. Active shooter in Michigan. No, don't unfollow and refollow. That doesn't help. No. We'll take a look at that. So one last thing that I want to talk about. So guys, you guys remember how I said that like I'm nothing without you. Like each and every person that's watching right now. Hey, Janice. Each and every person that's watching right now, right? I talk about this all the time. Anytime I hit go live, I never expect anyone to show up. Like I'm shocked every single time that I see one person watching me. Like I swear I never expect anyone to watch. No matter how many times I've done this, I don't think anyone's going to show up and watch me. Hi, Barb. Say your name for what? That was in chat from Barb. I don't expect people to show up at all. And so not only do you guys show up and you guys watch and you guys engage, but you guys donate, right? You tap the screen, you send gifts, and you donate that supports the live. You support what I do here. You allow me to be able to do this day in and day out, right? You guys not only give me my platform, but you guys give me the ability to do this and so many more things that we have coming up. Like literally, I can't do this without you. And you guys have given me the ability to do this. And so I always talk about why I put so much stock into being good stewards of what you guys give me, because I understand the privilege that I have. And I understand that at any moment, if I'm not doing right by you all, then you guys can take it away. So I hold myself accountable to you. But not everyone has that same level of integrity as far as the people that they disseminate information to. And when I say not everyone has that same level of integrity when it comes to disseminating information, we understand that sometimes maybe we should just fucking take podcast mics away from men, specifically white men. Specifically, fucking Joe Rogan. I don't understand anyone who's out here fucking listening to Joe Rogan anymore after Joe Rogan said you shouldn't listen to Joe Rogan. Fucking Joe Rogan said don't listen to Joe Rogan. But they keep sticking a mic in front of Joe Rogan and he keeps saying shit like this.
A thing when an all-white country wants to stay all white where people get very nervous of. If you have, you know, let's say China, like China is Chinese people. We all agree that it's like it's filled primarily with Chinese people. Yeah. There's people that live there from all walks of life, all over the world, but it's mostly Chinese people. If China had decided that they wanted to remain Chinese and stay Chinese, and that being Chinese is very important to what China is, no one would have a problem with that. Yeah. When a country like Poland does it, you're like, oh, those white people, they want to keep everybody out. They want it to be all white. Yeah. And because we're, you know, that's post World War II. That's post Aryan race talk. That's post Nazi stuff. That's what people are legitimately freaked out about. That's the most recent stain in our history where we look back and say, wow, that was close. Evil almost won that one. I think it'll.
I got it. Somebody fucking take Joe Rogan's mic. I hate when people who don't know the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality try to fucking talk and conflate race with nationality. Like, what are we even doing? What are we even doing? But Joe Rogan has massive reach, one of the largest platforms and podcasts on this planet. And he's perpetuating the myth that, one, America is a quote unquote white country, just like China is a quote unquote Chinese country. He's either stupid or disingenuous or combination, right? But that's what happens when you give the people who don't actually know shit about shit a mic and they start speaking. They perpetuate misinformation, disinformation, and they cause harm. So that's the point that I'm getting to, is listening to Joe Rogan pretend as if, oh, it's okay if America wants to be a white country. It's always been a white country. No, no, no. The fuck are we doing? A lot of harm, Swan. So I just want to call out the fact that, like, when you hear stupid shit like that, you guys call out stupid shit, push back on stupid shit, and don't engage in people who don't actually know what the fuck they're talking about. Because that was just wrong. It's just fucking wrong. Guys, keep tapping the screen, share the live, send your daily heart. It's only one coin. If you'd like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links, and links are in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Just like Megan sent a $5 super chat to say, hey, Santana, you know the current DOJ / Barbie Bondi is going to use Epstein leaks when full files come out. Thank you for all that you do. I wouldn't be surprised. Thank you, Megan. W's in the chat for Kimberly for the $4.99 super chat to say a false flag is when we say that we're going to be attacked. It's the U.S. government that does it just to justify fear. Yep, absolutely. And last but not least, guys, holy smokes. W's in the chat for Miss Day, who sent a $20 super chat to say, thank you for your authenticity. Miss Day, thank you for like being amazing. Thank you for the love, support, and kindness. You're amazing. W's in the chat for all the donos, guys. I was going to end it there, but people have been spamming this in the chat, and I looked it up, and I gotta tell you guys about this really quickly. There is an active shooter reported in Michigan. So this is the updated information as I know it, and this is provided from the BBC as of 1 minute ago, right? So I'm not speculating on anything. I would tell you guys, don't speculate on anything. We're just going to read the information as we know it. As they've been able to provide the information, we're just going to lay the information out. All right? FBI responding to an apparent vehicle ramming an active shooter at Michigan synagogue. FBI Director Kash Patel says federal officers from Detroit office are on the scene. He says they're working with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation outside of a Temple Israel synagogue in West Bloomfield Township of Michigan. As of 6 minutes ago, they were reporting no injuries, and the suspect still is at large. There's been no apparent injuries. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Burchard says, adding that suspect remains at large. We'll bring you more information when they can. This was as of 7 minutes ago. Temple Israel site of shooting includes preschool. Holy smokes. The Temple of Israel in West Bloomfield has more than 3,000 members, making it one of the largest congregations to form for Reform Jewish people in the U.S. The congregation is the home to a preschool, an early childhood learning center. And this is a quote, everybody sends their kids to preschool there if they live in the area, one local resident said. The resident said that she was at the temple yesterday about the same time the reported shooting today, about 12:30 local time, when the parents were there to pick up a dozen children. They're usually armed guards at the school. So that's the most recent information. Let me go back to the beginning. Let me see if there's anything else important to call out. So they do have video footage, and the video footage just shows police cars surrounding the synagogue, and there's smoke that's coming from the roof of the building. The Jewish Federation of Detroit says that it is aware of an active shooting incident at the Temple of Israel, and law enforcement are responding. And this is another quote: "Our Jewish agency is currently in precautionary lockdown as we ask community members to stay away from the area at this time." It said on a social media post. CBS News and the BBC U.S. partners report that the Federation has asked all local Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocols, limiting people coming in and out of their buildings. Gonna hit a refresh to see if anything else has updated. Shots fired, vehicle involved and gunman on the loose, sheriff says. More from the sheriff, Brashad update. He says the gunman approached the security guard, who then engaged them. Brashad confirms the shots were fired and the vehicle was involved. He did not give out any further details. He added everyone has been moved out of the neighborhood, the neighboring school and daycare, and all the Jewish facilities in the areas will have increased police presence. This is a quote, "It's a work in progress," he says, regarding the search for the gunman, and people in the area continue to shelter in place until the area is clear. So that is the most up-to-date information as far as what has occurred and what we know at this time. Again, I will say, please make sure that we're not speculating on anything, because speculation causes harm. And even more so, information, the way that information is disseminated, it can take like multiple days before all accurate information comes out. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that I call that out. Chase, why are you in the request? What do you want, Chase? Like, Chase has been here every single day. Chase must think that he goes here, guys. Why does Chase think that he goes here? You say, I didn't realize this was a safe space. I would leave. What are you talking about? D on him. D on him. What is it? What is D on him? Hold on. What did D on him say? I don't care what they say. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. Yeah, you can't say that. The reason why you can't say that is because we don't have facts and information, and speculation is harmful. That's the point. That's literally the point. And that's why, like, we don't want to perpetuate that harm or spreading any type of misinformation, disinformation until we know the facts as they are. That's why I said I'm just going to read out what I know. You may have thoughts or feelings or whatever. But yeah, this is Chase's. This is what Chase's profile, his bio says. I'm not insecure. Dean Withers, 12-0 debating Dean Santana is my B word. 2-0 debating Santana. Hey, Chase, buddy boy, old fellow, old pal. Guess who will never come back up here ever again? I'm not going to block you either, Chase, but you'll never, ever come back up here. Sorry for ya. Oh, well. Oh, well, Chase. You can keep dropping out the requests and coming back in the requests, but you're not coming up here. There's no way in hell you're coming up here, Chase. Like, not with that weirdo bio. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? One other thing that I want to share with you guys really quick is, so I don't always like read comments and all this other stuff, but I love a fucking good crash out in my comments. Like, these fragile men often lose their shit in my comments. It's super interesting. It's super weird, but they do it, right? I don't understand what they get from it, but like they have an affinity to like crashing out in my comments. But whatever. So there's something that I want to share with you guys. Give me a second here. Where is it? I know I got it. Where is it? Did I not take a screenshot? It's okay. I guess I didn't take a screenshot, but it's fine. I know exactly where to find it. So I was looking at my YouTube chat, right? And I don't know who the fuck this is, but someone, I guess he must have came up yesterday or like some weird shit, right? And he ended up, his name is JV, right? So if you guys know who JV is, I guess. If you guys know who JV is, JV crashed out in my comments. Like literally JV, he crashed out in my comments on the YouTube video. He said, because they want to put down during our conversation while I was trying to understand your definition, articulate your point in the new Constitution, it took a few times for me to understand. And then he said, I want the individual talking shit about me in your conversation earlier this morning online and ready to go. And then he comment, I'll see you tomorrow. And then he comment, I'm new to the channel, and this is the first time I ever heard anybody try to push the new Constitution. And this motherfucker that I want to hear my own voice, and I want to talk over you when I'm trying to actively listen and understand the different points of view and perspective instead of learning about. And then he said, I'll even tip you just to help you understand your bullshit. Then he said, I've seen several daughters on YouTube. I'm assuming he's saying debaters. But he said several daughters on YouTube. I follow number one. Don't try to label me as a fucking weirdo. I support my fucking daughters. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not even gonna read that last comment because that fucking comment's weird and wild. But he left all those comments on the video, right? He left all those comments on the video. But then I woke up this morning, and stick with me, chat. This is when the shit gets weird, right? It wasn't weird. Well, it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. But this is when it really got weird. Give me a second here. When I woke up this morning, when I wake up in the morning, you know, I have a morning routine. You know, I give management a ton of kisses and I get out of the bed, and then I get out of the bed, and then I actually get myself going, and I check like my emails and all this other stuff, right? And so I check my email. And when checking my email, this is what's in my email. I'm going to put this on the screen. All right, there's Twitch and Instagram. And let me bring this over here to TikTok and YouTube. He sent me a calendar invite to debate. He went to my link tree and tried to schedule a meeting to debate. Now, if you think that's crazy, right? If you think that's unhinged, you ain't seen nothing yet. because this is the message that he actually attached. This is the message that he actually attached. This is the message he attached to the actual invite. When he's trying to schedule a debate with me, this is the message that he attached. And he didn't just like attach some quick short message like, I'm gonna see you at this time or da 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 da. Oh no, 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 no. He had a lot to say. One of your little cheerleader mods was clearly throwing shade at me after rewatching our interaction. I feel like I need to call them out and bring them up to debate me on some irrational comments that they made. Number one, I'm not a professional debater, but an individual that makes shady ass comments towards me is out of pocket, and they're going to bring their asses online so we can discuss why they felt they needed to say that. I love to hear myself talk when I'm trying to learn and understand your point of view, even though it might not agree with your point of view, and I'll whoop your ass regarding the Constitution if they feel they need. If they feel the need, they feel free. There are on pointing, bringing them online tomorrow. I'll be there. They're on point. Bring them online tomorrow. I'll be there. That's what he said. Yeah, it is a whole like this is all one sentence. Like this is all one sentence. He was mad. He was mad. This is all one sentence. Right? But you would think after, chat, you would think after he went through the entire process of leaving all those comments, after leaving all those comments on my YouTube video, after going to my Calendly and scheduling a debate, after leaving that whole message, that entire run-on paragraph, you would think that he was done, right? You would think that he was done. But if you would think that he was done, you'd be wrong. Because then he sent an email. The invite with the paragraph wasn't enough. He sent an email as a fucking follow-up. And this is what he sent in the email as a follow-up. By the way, you have your cheap ass, low education, low budget moderator that I want to talk to about, that wanted to talk shit about me online, and I'm ready to go. He sent that message at 4:06 a.m. Pacific. (4:06 a.m. Pacific). He scheduled the meeting at 3:21 a.m. He was mad. Whew. Holy shit, he was mad. Guys, we really upset him. We really, really upset him. There's a bunch of big feelings. I say all that to say, after all of that, guess who didn't show up? Guess who's been online this entire time, and guess who didn't show up? Guess who's been right here online looking for some debates, And guess who didn't show up? Everybody want to be tough until it's time to do tough shit. Everybody want to be a rider until it's time to ride out. He was big mad. Anyway, guys. That's it. He had to take a nap after that big crash out. He did. He had to go take a fucking nap after fuming. He was so mad. He was so mad. That's fucking wild. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back later. We're going to go ahead and close this out. We're going to call it here. My mods are out here triggering the snowflakes. Not my mods triggering snowflakes as well. That's how you know we fucking doing something right. If you want to be down with the mod squad, you got to be out here triggering snowflakes. W's in the chat for the mod squad. W's in the chat for the mod squad because they out here triggering snowflakes. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
You stepped in a box, now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here, you better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in chain. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats to get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit.
Hey. Oh, apparently JB sent emails to the other emails as well. Holy shit, he was sending emails everywhere. Apparently there's emails that I didn't see that he was sending. Holy shit, he was so mad. He was so mad. That's fucking crazy. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're going to get out of here. I'll be back later. I'll see you guys later. We will be back later. Guys, thank you all for being amazing today. Thank you all for hanging out with me. You all are fucking great. You're perfect. You're perfect. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. You smell like chocolate and honey. All of you smell like your mama put cocoa butter on you. Yes, yes, yes. You all smell like your mama rubbed a bunch of cocoa butter on you. So I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for all the gifts, the taps, the likes, the shares. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for being absolutely amazing. I love you all. And as always, peace.